Hello and welcome back to another Truther Tuesday. All right. Truther Tuesday indeed. I remember the last time we did Truther Tuesday. I broke down how Alex Jones has been replaced. Yep. And I got to thinking, I am at the forefront of that particular topic. Nobody is talking about Alex Jones being replaced and proving it, quite like me. And got an update, you guys. Joe Rogan, he's performed some damage control as far as Alex Jones being replaced. So we'll get to that tonight for sure. How about we go a little blue? I think it looks the best. All right. So we got some super chats come in before the show even began. I'm going to go ahead and knock those out. And then we're going to get started. Got a great show lined up for you tonight. Should be a lot of fun. First super chat of the night came in from none other than Shady Davy D. LaFleur. He said, Truther Tuesday night on the #1 channel on YouTube. Smack them thumbs up. Hell yeah. Shady Davy D. Loyal subscriber and member, never misses a stream. And when he comes here, he's always in a good mood and promoting the stream, telling people to give it a thumbs up. This is a great guy to have in your camp. I need people like this rooting me on because you guys, channels like this are dying out or have already died out. Real people talking about real stuff, bringing real truth. YouTube doesn't really want it around, and that's why you see your feed filled with mostly garbage. So this is one of the last few remaining places where real people can gather, talk about real issues, and it not be some controlled shill trying to send you in the direction of Candace fucking Owens or Russell Brand or somebody. All right. Thank you, Shady Davy D, getting us started with the very first super chat of the night. Hell yeah. And then we got Lemming in a shiny metal box. Says, good evening, Sir Jake the Prophet. Gotta love it. Sir Jake the Prophet. It sounds so poetic. I was disappointed to miss the previous stream, but I trust there are still plenty of Donkey Kong-sized barrels of dry powder for this coming stream. So tonight, the plan is that I'm going to expose Candace Owens, tie her back to some other shills, and then I'm going to talk about how there's these failed Hollywood movie stars and people from cable television who come over here to YouTube because they no longer have a career in Hollywood. Hollywood doesn't know what to do with them anymore. So they come over here to YouTube and then they pretend to be truthers. And they're not doing it of their own accord. It's almost like they've been ordered or told to pretend like truthers and do shit here on YouTube because nobody's watching TV. So I've noticed people who used to be famous are trying to come over here and get a piece of the YouTube pie. And some of them are failing over here on YouTube now as well. So we're going to take a look at that. What else do I got on tap? Elmo's Twitter has been hacked. I don't know if you guys heard. Elmo was talking bad about the Evil Jays, saying some really naughty stuff about the Evil Jays on Twitter. Yeah, you know, the puppet Elmo. Did you guys know that Elmo's Twitter was allegedly hacked? We're going to get to the bottom of this story, and Elmo's going to tell you the truth about what really happened, and you won't want to miss it. Stick around. Yes, that's a real story. Elmo's Twitter got hacked. So we're going to get to that tonight. What else do I got? I don't want to spoil it, so I'll just tell you we got a good show. All right. It's like I want to hype up the show, but I don't want to give away too many details. I'm rigged here, says Brand translates for Stephen Hawking. with a bunch of over-the-top vocab not meaning anything. Oh, you mean Russell Brand does what Russell Brand always does? Okay, let me give this a go here. Stephen Hawking says that the global compromises of the conglomerate media corporations, in compromises with association and associated to, the reputation of the repuform of this indecision, indiscrimination of this great nation. However, as we walk along in this time, we must realize that we are being discriminated in this nation in the verbal compromises of the divertices. And we must realize in revelation with retaliation, we must understand this incorporation, in conjunction, in combustion with the diabolical diatribe of the invertices, compromises, invertilitives. That's exactly what Stephen Hawking said, word for word. There you go. We're going to get more of that tonight, believe it or not. That's why Russell Brent is in the thumbnail, because he's tied to another shill I'm going to be exposing. Guess which one? There you go. Russell Brent translating for Stephen Hawking there. Lemming in a shiny metal box says, many thanks for continuing to assume the mantle as arbiter of truth and transparency amidst these torturous times. That's exactly what I am. You know, there was a guy today in the comment section just before the stream started, and he said, Jake, you're always just talking about mainstream stuff that we can just watch on TV or find anywhere. Are you ever going to talk about other stuff like mud floods and Tartaria and alternate universes? Here's the problem with that stuff. I can't fucking prove any of it. I can point at buildings and be like, whoa, how did they make that back then? I don't know, and neither do you. Whoa, look at this building that's like partially under the earth and partially above the earth. It looks like it was in some sort of mud flood. I couldn't tell you how long ago that happened for sure or what, but yeah. So I always am stuck with more questions than answers when it comes to Tartaria, mud flood, World Fair, alternate universes, Hell Realm, and there's no way to like prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that stuff. And so that's never really been my thing. And I had a guy tell me he's a longtime fan of mine and he'd like to see me do this sort of thing. And it's almost like telling your favorite rock and roll musician that you'd like them to start playing some country tunes, because they don't do that sort of thing. So imagine if I show up to watch Blue Oyster Cult, and then after the show, I get to meet them. And I'm like, I love you guys. I've been following you for so long. I've seen you 30 times. I was wondering if you guys could start playing some country and jazz. Maybe you guys could do some jazz country. Just saying. I've seen you play Don't Fear the Reaper a fuck ton of times. So I was wondering if maybe you could do some jazzy country. So yeah, if you guys come along and tell me that you want me to do other shit that I've never done before, it's kind of like telling somebody that's famous for doing something that you want them to stop doing that and go do this whole other thing. All right. Sorry I had to go off on that one guy, but had to do it. Thank you, Lemming in a shiny metal box. I have assumed this mantle. And I love this mantle. So what I do here, I point at the fake news and I explain how it's fake in detail to the point where I prove that it's fake. The other truthers who are shills, they can't sit here and break down the footage like I can and relay it to you like I can. I'm the only one in the world who's going to expose Candace Owens tonight and then tie her to other shills and imitate these motherfuckers and break down how it's all scripted and how they position all these motherfuckers. I'm the only one who's going to do it. Only one. And then you might see somebody like Russian Vids rip me off in a week or two. Petro Chico coming in with a super sticker. All right. Let me go take a look at the super sticker on my watch page. It says, thank you. It's a pair that says thank you. You're welcome, Petro Chico. Thank you, and you're welcome, bro. Hell yeah. All right. And then I got one or two more, and then we can go ahead and get this party started. Immaculate Mickey says, hey, Jake, hope the members only stream went well. My mom loves Candace Owens, so I should definitely show her this stream. So people who are totally bought and sold on one of these right-wing puppets, it's tough to break the spell, because if they're sold on a right-wing puppet, chances are they're like my dad, who doesn't know that there's a such thing as the world stage. So you have to be aware that men script the news, and that the news is fake mostly, and that the daily events were scripted by dudes who literally like sat around like notepad in hand and said, what are we going to come up with for July 15th, 2025? So imagine somebody wrote today's news. Some guys in a room came up with today's news, and they came up with it 10 years ago or 20 years ago. That's what's going on. There's men sitting around scripting the news. And to relay this to somebody without them thinking that you're fucking Looney Tunes, it's so hard to convey it to them and get it through their fucking thick head. So in order to wake somebody up to Candace Owens being a fucking shill of the government, being propped up by the government and other shills, while she herself cross promotes other shills, they have to be aware that the whole arena is filled with actors and frauds and phonies. And most people can't wrap their brain around that. And that thought right there, if somebody brings it to their attention, is highly uncomfortable. So to swallow that pill and be like, you're right, I was completely wrong about all these people. It takes a special individual, and most people don't have that capability. They'd rather go down with the shilly ship and walk around thinking Candace Owens owned 20 feminists because they saw it on a YouTube video. All right. Thank you very much, Immaculate Mickey. We got Nate X gifting 5 memberships like a hero. Wow. Thank you, Nate. I appreciate that. And I'm sure whoever gets one of the memberships will appreciate it as well. You guys, we are over 200 members strong. We've only done the members thing for 1 month, and we're already up to 200 members. The members slowly climbing every day. So unlike the subscriber count where they steal the subscribers, the members are going up a little bit each day. So that's my goal. Keep the members coming in little by little and gather me 2,000 or so members. So we're 10% of the way there. All right. Destinies says, thanks for doing the member stream yesterday. I enjoyed it. So yeah, I did a members only stream yesterday. Members only streams are smaller crowds. I'm able to read a lot more of the comments, and I don't break down the fake news so much during the stream. However, yesterday I did spoil the members by telling them what I was going to talk about tonight. So I gave them a little bit of an inside edition of what I was going to talk about. But other than that, I want to keep the members only streams like private hangouts. And I'm not going to have to have anything prepared. I just want to show up and read what you guys have to say and chit chat with all of you guys. Try and talk to each and every one of you to the best of my ability. So with the members only streams, it's more like a hangout. And these streams, Tuesday, Truth or Tuesday, I have like topics prepared that I'm gonna hammer. You see what I'm saying? So that's gonna be the difference. Truth or Tuesday, I'm gonna be slamming the fake news and breaking it down like always, and then anyone can show up and watch. And the members only stuff is more like a tight knit hangout, like a group of my close personal friends. All right. I think we're just about caught up on super chats. Then we can get this party started. All right. It looks like I'm totally glitching out and have shitty signal strength. Wonderful. I love when that happens. Maybe if I turn the Wi-Fi on off of my phone, it'll improve my signal. I always think of stupid shit that probably is not going to help. I'll turn the Wi-Fi off on my phone so that my computer gets to suck up all the Wi-Fi. Maybe that'll help improve my glitchy, shitty signal. Nope, still shitty. Dang it. It didn't work. All right. Mike Donovan says, Jake loves those members. Hell yeah. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? You know, when I want to go watch my favorite band, I want to get a front row ticket. Watching my favorite band, Blue Oyster Cult, watching them front row is the best. I don't even like being anywhere other than the front row. I feel like it's not the same. Like I deserve to be in the front row. That's how I feel. I love the music that much. It's like, so I want a personal experience where I'm as close as possible. And I've done it like a dozen times and it's fun every time. And I'm going to do it until they die. And in order for me to get that front row ticket, I got to wait for the tickets to go on sale. And at 10 in the morning, I got to have my alarm set to where I have the screen pulled up. And at 10 in the morning, right when it goes on sale, I pay whatever the cost is for the front row seat. So I've paid as little as $30 to see Blue Oyster Cult front row. And I've paid a fucking $160 for a front row seat. So I plop down whatever the cost is for the front row seat because I know I'm willing to pay up to $200, $300, but whatever. It's my favorite band and I'm front row. And when I go, they're so close that it's like they literally see my reactions and they can see that crazy dude is there. So in order for me to have that experience, I got to pay for it, right? I can't sit front row and not pay for it. How in the fuck am I going to sit front row at my favorite band without showing up at Ticketmaster at 10 in the morning and buying that ticket? So the cool thing is my favorite band is not popular enough to where I can't get a front row ticket. I can get a front row ticket, but I got to, at 10 in the morning, go to Ticketmaster and be ready right when they go on sale. And I have to have my credit card ready and plop down that money. And then if it's like, oh, they're playing in Vegas, well, that means I got to drive fucking 11 hours, 10 hours, whatever, to get to Vegas. And I got to pay for all the gas to get there. And then when I get there, I got to pay for my food. So sometimes it turns into me paying $500, $1,000 just to go watch my favorite band. So if I charge $2 a month, I don't want to hear anyone bitch or complain. If you can't afford $2 a month or you don't want to pay $2 a month, don't. But just so you know, I plop down fucking $160 and travel 1,000 miles to go watch my favorite band. and sit right up front. Just saying. If you want that experience, it costs money. So anyone who thinks that they're above paying for top quality entertainment from a top quality guy like myself, if you think you're above it, then you get to watch the regular streams and you don't get to watch the members only streams. And those who pay the $2, they get to hang out and watch all the behind the scenes shit and hang out in the members only chats and ask me whatever they want and all that stuff. So, you guys ready to start? Now that I got that out of the way, let's kick this party off, shall we? I'm thinking we start with the Candace Owens deal here. Actually, no, I wanted to start with the Joe Rogan clip. That's right. Let's start with the Joe Rogan Alex Jones clip. I showed this last night in my members only stream. I'm going to show it tonight here for you guys. So we all know Joey Rogan. Let's see what Joey Rogan has to say.
This is really funny because, you know, his whole business is conspiracy theories. So there's a conspiracy that Alex has been replaced.
Yeah.
Listen, folks, that's real Alex. I've watched every step of the way, and my friend trains him. So I can tell you for a fact that is the real Alex Jones. Quit drinking, quit fucking around, quit eating bad food. He's eating healthy food now. He works out every day. It's like no Ozempic, no bullshit, no shortcuts. He did it the right way. He looks great.
Yeah. He's definitely one of my bucket list people to meet at some point.
Oh, I can introduce you to Alex.
Yeah,
we can make that happen for sure. People think.
All right, y'all. So it's a quick clip, but there's so much to unpack. You know what makes me the best at unpacking the bullshit? I go through these little clips, and word for word, I stop and listen to each thing they're saying. Because guess who just made a video saying Alex Jones has been replaced? Me! And yes, I really do think he's been replaced, and I think it's fucking obvious he's been replaced. And whoever the new guy is might not even be human. It might be fucking AI Alex Jones. There might not even be a real Alex Jones character at this point, for all we know. And so I find it hilarious that the guy with the biggest podcast in the world has to take the time to say this about Alex Jones, the guy who I know has been replaced. So let's go through this word by word.
This is really funny because, you know,
this is really funny because, you know,
his whole business is conspiracy theories.
His whole business is conspiracy theories.
There's a conspiracy that Alex has been replaced.
There's a conspiracy that Alex has been replaced.
Yeah.
Listen, folks, that's real Alex. I've watched.
Listen, folks, that's real Alex. He's watched
every step of the way, and
he's watched every step of the way.
Friend trains him.
And his friend trains him. You guys, Joe Rogan's friend trains Alex Jones.
So I can tell you for a fact.
So he can tell you for a fact.
That is the real Alex Jones.
That's the real Alex Jones.
Quit drinking.
Quit drinking. I guess I was drunk the other night, last Tuesday, when I told you guys I think Alex Jones has been replaced. I guess I was blackout drunk or something. I don't remember being drunk. I don't remember drinking at all that day, but I must have been so drunk that I forgot that I was drunk, because clearly it's the same guy, according to Joe Rogan.
Quit fucking around.
Gotta quit fucking around.
Quit eating bad food.
Gotta quit eating bad food.
He's eating healthy food now.
He's eating healthy food now.
He works out every day.
And he works out every day.
It's like no Ozempic.
No Ozempic. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Joe Rogan, who apparently knows for a fact it's the real Alex Jones, says he's working out. No Ozempic. So all you people who showed up in my comment section and said, Jake, it's the same Alex Jones. He just took Ozempic. Well, according to Joe Rogan, he just eats good and works out. Same guy. His friend trains him, so he knows for a fact. No Ozempic. Tell me more, Joey.
No bullshit. No
bullshit. You guys, no bullshit. The last thing that Joe Rogan would do is bullshit about a topic like this.
shortcuts.
No shortcuts.
He did it the right way.
He did it the right way. Alex Jones changed his eye color and the shape of his head, the tone of his voice, his mannerisms, and his energy the right way by working out and eating correctly.
He looks great.
He looks great.
Yeah. He's definitely one of my bucket list people to meet at some point.
This motherfucker wants to meet him so bad that he's on his bucket list. Like before this guy dies, he wants to meet the guy who plays Alex Jones.
Oh, I can introduce you to Alex.
Yeah.
And Joe Rogan is going to hook him up. Oh, I can hook you up and help you meet your hero. If you would like to meet your hero, I can totally help you. That's that's what we just watched. The world's most popular podcaster. Yeah, he's assuring his audience Alex Jones has not been replaced. So, what does that tell you guys about me saying Alex Jones has been replaced? What does that tell you? Gee, did I hit the bullseye on that one? Did I fucking nail it that Alex Jones has been replaced? So much so that I've got a clip of Joe Rogan doing terrible damage control with some loser cuck who says he wants to meet Alex Jones. Like, who even was that cuck of a guest? Oh, man. Imagine. I'm looked at as the crazy loon when I tell people things like, yeah, Alex Jones has clearly been replaced. Meanwhile, the most popular, recognizable podcaster in the world is assuring people that Alex Jones definitely hasn't been replaced. Wow. How about that? Don't you love living in this realm? I sure as heck do. God, it's so awesome to live in this place and watch the world's most popular podcaster say the exact opposite of what the fuck I'm saying. And insinuate that you have to be drinking in order to think that Alex Jones been replaced. Oh, okay. Fuck. Gotta love it, right? All right, let's get to the Candace Owens stuff, shall we? So, you guys tell me, because I think you guys know, some of you guys know more than I do about Candace Owens. So I'm going to let you guys tell me why Candace Owens is a shill. I want my audience to explain to me why she's a shill. Because here's the deal. I never really deep dived into this character's background, and I only recently have noticed that people are bringing up her name more and more. And so I just quickly went and scratched the surface on this character, and I immediately found that I was right, that this is a total shill controlled opposition plant character that's being propped up right now by other shills. And so I'm sure some of you guys know a lot more than I do about her background. So what I'd like for you to do right now for me is you guys tell me why she's a shill. And then I'll get to what I found. But I know some of you guys probably already found some dirt on this character maybe years ago, and perhaps you can enlighten me as to some information that I am unaware of. That's right, I'm giving you guys the opportunity. The last Trump says she's a shill because she's mainstream and makes bank. Simple, easy, and I totally agree. If your name is being brought up over and over again by other mainstream puppets and other low-level internet shills, and when I go to your YouTube channel, she's got millions of subs. Yeah, pretty basic, man. Yeah, she's making bank and she's mainstream. And they don't allow you to make bank and be mainstream and get cross-promoted all day unless you're part of that team. For sure. Anatomy Conspiracy says because she is Halle Berry. Okay. Misanthropic says she's too famous not to be, for one. Plus, she only talks about fake truther stuff like Alex Jones' truth. Excellent. This is what I like to hear. This is what I expect my audience to be talking about if I ask you about one of these shills. Saul 1000 says, promoting the world theatrics, plants. Yes, see, so somebody like Candace Owens isn't going to point at any news clip and be like, oh, that's some scripted bullshit psychological operation, right? Something as easy as that, just pointing at like a psyop and explaining that it is a psyop. That's what real truthing is just breaking down the fake media, is even in as simple as form, just pointing at why it doesn't make sense, right? Pointing at the actors who are cracking smiles with duper's delight. Something as simple as that. You won't see these plants doing that. They'll try and make it look like they're for the truth by having them come out against Israel. So I've heard people say, Jake, why would you say Candace Owens is a shill? She came out against Israel. Are you some type of J or something? Like, oh, so if they tell you that they're anti-Israel, that's enough for you to bend over and trust them from that point on? That's like Russell Brand saying he's against the jib jab. He's against the VAXX. So then you should jump on board with Russell Brand. Aaron Rodgers, a quarterback in the NFL, claims he's anti-jab, and then so we're supposed to believe he's a fucking man of truth while he pretends to play football? None of these fucking shills who claim that they're anti-this or anti-that, none of them are real men of truth. They'll never point at the fucking fake news and tell you that it's fake. Something as simple as that. So anybody can come along and be like, I'm anti-vax. But then they'll pretend that like what's happening with Trump on the world stage is all real. So are they really anti-VAXX, and can they be trusted if they go on to talk about Trump being shot in his ear and how they almost killed their hero? D-Cran knows what's up. All right. Anybody else got anything to say about Candace before I rip into her? Here we go. Stephen Landry says they needed a black girl conservative shill, and there she is. Good one. So there's a growing black fatigue that's occurring, and there's also a hatred for hardcore feminists. So what they do is they take the black conservative, and they have her go against 20 feminists, and they make it into a viral YouTube video, and then they have a bunch of shills promote Candace Owens owns 20 feminists in a row. And then they show little clips of her winning some scripted debate. And then they get people to gush over her. Wow, what a hero she is, owning those libtards on camera in a scripted fucking debate. Yeah, imagine if I had 50 losers set up who I could humiliate on camera, and I know exactly what each and every one of them is going to say, and I can just destroy 50 losers. And then after that, I have perfect footage from 10 different angles, and then I pay other channels to tell people how funny and awesome I am when I humiliated all these libs and feminists. Set me up 50 feminists and tell me what they're going to say, and I'll fucking humiliate all 50 of them. And then I can pay 10 other fucking channels to talk about how funny and awesome I am. That's basically the formula for what they're doing with Candace Owens. And a bunch of fucking idiots are falling for it. Did you see the way she owned those liberals and those feminists? Whoa, she's so amazing. She's so different from all the other black women. She's a hero. Javid, what's up, bro? Haven't seen you in a while. Glad you could make it. Javid says she's a gold digger. Married rich white guy shortly after meeting him at some elite party. It's all about who you know you can do for them. In this business, it's not about how talented you are. It's about how you can use your talents to benefit that evil agenda, how they could use you to put on a show for the sheep. Do you have that kind of talent? Do you have it inside you to dupe the sheep day in, day out and get the sheep to really buy into it? And it seems to be working with that one. So that's what we're going to do here today. Is break it down in simple form. Dcran 4D says it's all so damn fake. Lace ya Jake. It's also damn fake. Lace ya Jake. I'm a member, by the way. I don't know if that's what you meant to say. Lace ya Jake, or thank you, Jake. Maybe you meant to say it's also damn fake. Thank you, Jake. All right. Thank you nonetheless, D-Cran. Javid says she should have married a average black guy if she was honest. You know what I don't like are these women who come along and go, I think more women should be in the kitchen making a sandwich for their man. It's almost like they're trying to get any older man at home watching to jump on board. So any woman I see pandering towards old men by saying like, more women need to stay home and go in the kitchen. Women, if you're listening right now, make a sandwich for your man and lick his balls. If I see a woman pandering like that to the older men crowd, I know that that's like some sort of a fucking shill, right? So I'm seeing more and more of these women with gigantic view counts who are basically pandering to men and gushing to men. And it's all such a big fraud. It's not much different than a fucking strip tease if you think about it. I think every woman should be in the kitchen, making the best sandwich for their man. I think all men should be entitled to picking out whatever woman they see. And that woman should just be pleased as punch to make a sandwich for that man and lick his balls all day. And then there's some old loser on the other side of the screen going, hell yeah, I agree with what this lady's saying. Subscribe. Ooh, yeah. I got me a boner and I haven't even taken my pills. It's pathetic. Looks like Simone just dropped in. Simone says, just saying hello, Jake and everyone. Can't stay busy today. No problem. Thanks for dropping in, at least, and saying hi, showing some love with the super chat. I really do appreciate it. And I know that you'll go back and probably watch the replay later, and you'll probably say hi in the comment section, which I always appreciate. So if you can't be here live, I always hope that you go back and watch the replay. All right. So check this out, guys. If I was going to go check out Candace Owens right now, and let's say I didn't know anything, and I wanted to just go check out and see like who she is and what she's all about. You know what I would start with? I'd just go right on over to her YouTube page and see what she's done lately. And so I'm going to type in Candace Owens, right? And I'll show you. This is how I would do my research into this character if I was going to start from scratch. Here's how easy it is to find out whether someone's a shill or not. 4.5 million subs. Last video she made, Candace Owens and Russell Brand. Well, I think that concludes my investigation. She's a fucking shill. Do I need to go any further? So as far as I'm concerned, that's how easy it is to research whether or not someone's a shill. Jake, just because she's interviewing Russell Brand doesn't mean she's a shill. Yes, it fucking does. That absolutely means she's 100% a shill. And I'm not even sure it's a she. It looks kind of like Russell Brand has some feminine qualities, and it looks like Candace has some masculine qualities. Just the type of people who would hang together. So, I don't know shit about Candace Owens, but I just went to her YouTube page, and I see her with Russell motherfucking Brand. Now, I know a thing or two about Russell motherfucking Brand. I know he's got satanic Masonic tattoos on his body. I know he flashes the 666 hand sign a lot. I know he talks out of his ass without really saying anything. And I know he came out against the jib jab and convinced people that he's some sort of truther. But he never actually goes on screen like your boy and breaks down any actual fucking psychological operations. So, look at what he's wearing. Why would Candace Owens even give this guy the time of day? If Candace Owens had any integrity, if she was legit at all, she would never give her platform to this guy. Only a shill would interview Russell Brand. I don't got to go any further, really. Only a shill is put in this position. And Russell Brand is not going to do an interview where he doesn't know what he's going to be asked. So that means the questions are thought of beforehand and the answers are thought of beforehand. They may have even did a practice run. So it's not fucking real. It's a scripted interview. So if you're doing a scripted interview with Russell Brand, then that means you are in the big club. And you are a shill. And I don't want anything to do with you. I don't even need to dig into her background any further. That's as far as I need to motherfucking go. Her last video. And there's still people who are even subscribed to my channel who follow Candace and say like, oh, I don't think she's a shill. Why do you think she's a shill? Because there she is on the screen with motherfucking Russell Brand. And anyone who ties back to Hollywood can never be trusted. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. If they tie back to Hollywood, they tie back to pure evil. That means they got famous through the Hollywood beast. And if you get famous through the Hollywood beast system, they own your ass. In fact, the Hollywood beast system sent these two motherfuckers here to do this on YouTube because he's no longer famous enough to be in movies. Nobody cares. So he's got to come over here to YouTube. So they have to have these creatures cross-pollinate and cross-promote each other in order to get through to as many sheeple as they can. Now, let's play a little clip of this horse shit. See what sorts of stuff they talk about. We ain't going to watch the whole thing, but we'll watch a little bit.
All right, we're going to just start now. You said you were extremely nervous.
Yeah,
Nobody
I get
believes
nervous.
that.
I don't like to wait around.
That's not true.
It is true. Why would I say it? It's not like I'm saying, oh, guess what? I see visions of angels and they're giving me guidance. I'm saying I get nervous. No one would make that claim to make yourself seem or feel better, would you? What, like you think it's some sort of reverse modesty? Oh, I'm nervous because I'm so fragile and not at all vain.
No, I just think that you're a famous actor, you know?
So they're going to talk about how nervous this famous actor is right out of the gate, to make it seem like they're on the up and up, and this is all just happening first take on the spot. Got to talk about how nervous Russell Brand is.
Oh, so I feel that you don't get nervous when there's cameras around. But
I don't
maybe
get
I'm wrong because this is the real you. It's probably easier to be somebody else.
And then look at how he's dressed. Like, is this somebody who you want to hang around with and take seriously? If they're going to show up dressed like this, like, I say that with my goofy hat on, but you guys see what I'm saying? Just this sort of energy right here. It doesn't scream nervousness to me. So why are they going to start out by talking about how nervous he is and shit when he's obviously very comfortable with himself to show his fucking chest and have his nipples out, no underwear, fucking boxers and shit.
Actually, that was also annoying. Being someone else was annoying. I don't think there's anyone you can be where it's not ultimately annoying unless what you're actually doing is finding yourself in the constant living flow. And what it is feeling like suspended. That's what I don't like. I don't like the sense of suspension, purgatorial. I like to be in the flow of it. So I feel like, and you know, that's difficult because when you are an actor, there's a continual tension between what's happening technically and what's happening on screen. And that, and the,
you hear that?
So I feel like, and you know, that's difficult because when you are an actor, there's a continual tension between what's happening technically and what's happening on screen. And that
there's a continual tension of what's happening technically and what's happening on screen. That's a roundabout way of saying that, like, even when he's not on camera, he's still playing a character. Even when he's not on the silver screen, the role continues. Technically.
And the power balance will be dependent on what type of director you have. Sometimes you have directors that are very, like, obviously there's a standard that has to be achieved with lighting and framing and cinematography, etc. But some people are very much like, no, I just want to see people affecting one another with words. I just want to see performances. And other people,
that's what he's doing. He's putting on a performance right now. There's directors for this thing that he's doing right now, where he's talking about directors. This was planned out. It didn't just happen. And then just get together organically. So he's referring to his own directors in this moment where he's having this conversation. But people don't think of that. They don't think of how this was set up and designed to get more sheeple on board with this character. They're using this character, who's been around a lot longer, and expose his fan base to this character so that you can cross-pollinate and cross-promote each other here. Strengthen their roles on the world stage.
Was like a really, like say someone like Kubrick, all he cares about is making sure that it's a molecular.
There he goes. He does it every time he's on screen. And he's always got these sketchy tattoos. Always got them. Yeah. Can't help himself. All right. Got a few super chats coming in. Go back and read. Davey D said 400 plus in the chat. Let's get those likes up. Good idea. Hey, if you're watching right now, I got a lot more fun for you tonight. So let's get the thumbs up. Hook your brother up with a quick thumbs up. It's quick and easy. Yeah, I'm talking to you on the other side of the screen. Put down that joint. Put down that beer. Put down that slab of meat and smash the thumbs up button. Just like Davey D says. Dcran4D said, she's a shield. She's a shield. You mean shill. I think your autocorrect turned shill into shield. Sounds like Dcran4D is using voice to text and it autocorrected shill to shield. That's my guess. All right. Okay, so they start their stream by just talking some nonsense. And then he's going to try and be funny and do some voices. And then he's going to do the Russell Brand thing where he strings together a bunch of big words and says like this big long thing that he's like riffing. And it's like this hypnotic trance that he puts on his audience where he just says a bunch of big words in his British accent. And he wastes a bunch of time saying what seems like something important, but it turns out to be nothing. So he's going to do that in this interview with Candace Owens. And I'm going to point it out and show it to you. And I'm going to explain exactly how he does this to put the sheep in a hypnotic trance. And it tricks him into thinking he's smart because he's got a big vocabulary and he can string together a bunch of big words in a row. All right.
Level, precisely what he envisaged. The vision is apparently so clear that he just needs to move people around through sort of a pre-imagined set of shadows and stations that he could foresee. That's, I've probably done that in tone. I just didn't. I think. Hey, are you having a better time with your own economic model? Is it working better for you? Like that.
Now, why did you pick that voice?
Skin tone. We could pretend it's like that it's Candace's hand. It's madness. It doesn't make sense. Oh no! What you doing? Hey, are you having a better time with your own economic model? Is it working better for you? Like that.
Now, why did you?
He's so funny. Did you see how he did that voice? Oh, I'm going to talk like this with my hand. Economic something or another. Ha ha ha. Funny. It's almost like he's trying to do an Elmo voice, but it's not as good as Elmo. Like he made up his own fucking version of Elmo, but he's whipping off Elmo without giving credit to Elmo. Hey, you fucking British Nancy boy. Never whip Elmo off again, or Elmo will exterminate your fucking British Nancy bitch ass, bitch! Now that's comedy. At least in my world.
Pick that voice in your hand.
I just didn't. I think I do this character with my kids. Like, you know, Oh, come on, man. Shouldn't we go to bed? Isn't it bedtime? Please capitulate, you damn kids. You know, why don't you do what I ask you?
You would be a very fun dad. That's what I would say.
I'm doing
Definitely.
good, I
Yeah,
think.
because you get to create a bunch of characters, and that's pretty much
He would be a very fun dad.
what raising toddlers is, raising children is. There's a bunch of characters.
Yeah, I that's what I'm doing. There's a real cast of characters my kids encounter, make them the heroes of their own drama, bring forth who they are. You know what I think, Candace? The word parent and the word parentheses like brackets, you're holding them. Don't interfere with them. Let them grow. Let them be who they are. Just keep enough space around them so the state doesn't get in there and turn them into little freaks or weirdos. Or
Having children is like putting parentheses in brackets around words, and you can type them on the screen with your little mouse and you can drag them around on the screen. And what you need to do is then you need to write a script with the assistance of ChatGPT and a team full of writers, and they can come up with what your children should do and who they should be and why they should be what they should be in vertice. And you know, it's true. I can do this to you. I can hypnotically talk about nothing while making it sound like I'm saying something. I can waste your time, minutes of your life gone forever. You'll never ever get these minutes back. And at the end of this sentence, you'll feel like I have said something profound when all I have done is said absolutely nothing at all. That's what I hear when I fucking hear him talk. It's like you're wasting my time saying nothing, but you're making it sound eloquent with your fucking British Nancy boy voice. All right, so I have a spot time marked at the 7.5 minute mark where he does exactly what I'm talking about. I'll show you. I'll give you the best example. Watch this. So here's an example of Russell Brand saying a bunch of long or big words and just stringing together this big ongoing sentence. And it sounds like he's going somewhere with it. But then when he finally finishes, it's like he just said a bunch of fucking bullshit word salad. Listen very closely. I'll even put the fucking words on screen. Watch this.
Is on the move in our culture, that Christ has wearied of these false taxonomies of this left and right, ideas born out of industrialization and mechanization and the concomitant social movements that...
Whoa! Industrialization and mechanization and the concomitant social movements. You see how he fucking will start a sentence like that? So it's almost like you have to like be a person who like thinks that large vocabulary equals smart. And if you hear somebody who strings together a bunch of big words, then you have to assume he must be saying something intelligent. But he's not.
Born out of industrialization and mechanization and the concomitant social movements that are no longer relevant as we stand on the precipice of the third great anthropological revolution. Technological revolution at scale that means that attention, consciousness itself could be commanded in previously inconceivable ways. That all things come from him. Our Father in heaven, that is the same 1,000 years ago as he will be tomorrow. He that is outside of time. And what I feel might be our challenge is for us to be messengers of this deep truth, that the technology that currently exists can be used to create a kind of diaspora, a mass decentralization. There is no requirement for centralized institutions, either economic and private commercial or state bureaucratic, that there was 100 years ago or 500 years ago. That this is
See what I'm fucking saying? It's almost like he just keeps stringing together this long ass sentence to where you have to be a fucking retarded idiot to continue following along with that and think that he's intelligent. But he's able to hypnotize sheep with all those words into thinking that he's made some profound statement. incongruent in conjunction with the biological invertices. We stand alone, in time, imperceivable, in construction with this conjunction, in nature, imperceivably unknown, incongruent to the undefying, underlying, under premises, underneath the inside elements of this global confound of this construct inside this compound. We inevitably, evolutionally, logically, disassociatively, incongruitively, decisively, indiscriminatively, conjunctiogruiniviate with indecipherabilities, right? It's like, dude, what are you even fucking saying? Timothy's like, how do you become a member? I don't see it. So you go to the to my members only stuff, and you can click on any of it, and it will prompt you to join. Or you go to my page, and it should say join on the screen. And if you're using your phone, you might not see it, so you might need to use a computer or a laptop. But it'll say join. And there's also a memberships tab, or you should see a membership tab on screen. One second, I'll pull it up on my end and show you. And I'll get back to this video here. Woo. All right. So right here, memberships. And there should be a join button up here. You should see one that says join. And then also, if you go to videos, you should see my members only stuff. And if you click on it, it'll prompt you to become a member if you're not. So, see, I have this members only video here, and then these other videos from behind the scenes and stuff. So if you click on any of those, it should prompt you to join. Thank you, Timothy, for asking how to become a member. Hopefully you figure it out. I've heard some people say that when they try to join on their phone, they have trouble doing it. So you might have to join on a laptop or on your computer, and then you'll be able to see all the members only stuff on your phone. But I've only heard a few people say they've had trouble joining through their phone. All right. So let me get back to Russell Brand here. But you guys saw an example of how he strings together all these fucking words, and he's like saying this like monologue of shit. And then when you really sit back and listen, like, what did he really say? Did he really break down any truth that opened up your mind to something you didn't know?
A time where you could be afforded a degree of autonomy, control, and agency in the life of your family and of your community. And what excites me about that, Candace, is that we would be able to diffuse this constant polarity and this constant tension. If you want to sign off and sign out from the experiment of your nation, whether it's France or Romania or the UK or the United States, why oughtn't you? Why ought you be tethered to worldliness? Why do they want us to treat the state and the world as if it were a kind of religion? Why do they lay claim to the powers of the God that they deny even exist? They want your constant fealty. Today we believe this. It's a new doctrine. Today we have a new cast of saints that we want you to revere. All the while making the claim that it's ridiculous that we believe in the birth of the Son of God, the death of the Son of God for our sins, and his resurrection that we may know eternal life. They invite us to believe in these detrimental, ridiculous faith-based systems. If you ask me, somewhat tawdry. They lack only the forgiveness and majesty of our glorious faith.
So for Candace Owens to give her platform to that individual right there, well, in my book, that automatically makes you a shill. There's no coming back from that. Once I have you pegged as a shill, you can't really undo it. I've pointed out certain people are shills and fucking ruined their shill career. There's some lower level shills that I pointed out that they were shills before anyone else figured it out and proved it and ruined their whole script. All right. So the video that's going around that is getting shown over and over again is this video where Candace Owens owns 20 feminists. And I'll show you exactly how they set this one up and the type of channels that are promoting this sort of shit. All right. So check this out. On a channel called Jubilee with 10 million subscribers, this video from 2 weeks ago, 5.8 million views. That's a fat view count for only 2 weeks old, right? Damn near 6 million people. And what is it? Shit, my bad.
Possible working conditions like you.
One conservative versus 20 feminists. Think about that. They shove a video down people's throats, force it to go viral. And what's the title? One conservative versus 20 feminists. Gee, who do they want you to root for? Who's that video designed to grab hold of? Feminists? Or people who don't like feminists and don't like what feminists stand for? One conservative versus 20 feminists. Who are you going to root for? Just by the title alone, psychologically, that's going to cause a shitload of men to click and want to root for the conservative, right? So a dipshit voter who votes for Trump or any conservative who's duped into clicking on this does so because the title suggests that this one hero, this one legendary conservative, is going to go toe-to-toe with these naughty, no-good feminists. Libtards, if you will. Gee, who do you want to win? Is this audience designed to rope in libs and feminists, or is it designed to rope in conservatives? Gee, I wonder. Who are they going to root for if they watch 30 seconds of this?
You have. And I think we should all advocate for that. It's not one or the other. But when you sit here and you go, you'll be more fulfilled doing this and spend all your time doing that. We would love for you to leave the public eye and go focus on what makes you fulfilled.
Okay. Hi, my name is Candace Owens. I am a podcaster, a mother, a wife, and also the author of the upcoming book, Make Him a Sandwich. And today,
she's the author of a book, Make Him a Sandwich. You gotta be a dumb motherfucker. You really do. You gotta be a dumb motherfucker to take that bait. Hi, I'm black, conservative, well-spoken, and I wrote a book. Make your man a sandwich. She's here to lead us to the promised land, you guys. She must be one of the good ones. A well-spoken black conservative who wrote a book about making your man a sandwich? Let's collectively finger our buttholes and praise this legend. She's about to destroy 20 feminists, you guys. Oh, Candace Owens, we worship thou. She is about to destroyeth the 20 feminists. Oh, so legendary and amazing, you guys. She deserves to be celebrated. She wrote a book about making her man a sandwich. But guess what? That's her fan base. A bunch of old dudes. old conservative fucks. That's her fan base. They took the bait. Wow, a lady wants to make me a sandwich? I love her. I'm going to follow her to the ends of the earth. She's talking about making me a sandwich. Wave a fucking the idea of making a man a sandwich in the face of a fucking Trump voter. That's how easy it is.
I am surrounded by 20 feminists. My first claim is that the sexual revolution has devalued women and made them infinitely less happy.
All right, so check out the setup. Here she is, and then here's the 20 feminists. If you're a conservative and you're too fucking stupid to realize this is scripted to brain fuck you, you're going to root for this lady. And you're going to think she's some sort of hero for sitting there and taking on all of these angry feminist libs. Like, where is this done? How did they get these people to do this? And then they have all these camera angles set up. The only way you would set this up is if your whole plan is to film it, clip it up, and make Candace Owens look like she's some sort of hero or legend for doing this. So just this whole setup screams television, right? And television is scripted. YouTube is supposed to be like people showing real stuff, right? But no, they've turned YouTube into fucking cable television. And people are falling for it by the millions. Did you see Candace Owens destroy the 20 feminists? Yeah, this is something that I would have watched on television fucking 20 years ago and thought was real back when I was a sheep. Amber says everything hinges sounds better in British. I think you mean to say everything he says sounds better in British. Everything hinges. I know what you mean, though. There's people who are they're duped into thinking someone like Russell Brand is highly intelligent because he can string together a bunch of big words with a British accent, and his British accent sounds eloquent in their mind. So it tricks people into thinking he must be highly educated to speak in such a eloquent manner with such a big vocabulary. When really the dude just like leads people in circles with his monologues that waste your time. So yeah, this is the video 2 weeks ago, 6 million views. And just the look of it screams scripted cable television. Like, remember like when every hit TV show became formulaic and fake as fuck, right? Like Pawn Stars became so fake to where they have to have like the scripted guy with the scripted story and the famous item come in, and then they do a scripted fucking negotiation, and then they try and pass it off like it's a story about a pawn shop. It's like it ain't a pawn shop when actors are coming in and selling fucking items that were scripted and brought there on purpose. So this is like a same kind of deal. It's like a cable TV show that they're gonna fucking shoot here.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Hi, I'm
What's your name?
Samaya.
Samaya, nice to meet you. I'm Candace.
Nice to meet you too. So my question for you is, statistics show that 60% of women who are murdered by their intimate partners, murdered by someone that they are in close relations.
Statistics show, and you can always trust statistics.
With that's according to the UN from 2023.
Yeah.
So how is it that women are so valued, quote unquote, in the home, and yet that's the place where they're at the most danger?
Okay, so I'm not sure what that has to do with the sexual revolution.
Right, the
Just getting
sexual
to the first
revolution.
claim.
The sexual revolution.
The statistics show you guys that if you're a housewife, there's a 60% chance you're going to get murdered. So it's obviously really dangerous to be a housewife. So therefore, no one should be a housewife. Correct? Well, no. Now I'm going to school you and destroy you. All right. Now let's hear Candace destroy this lady because she's such an awesome hero.
I'm happy to answer it. I'm just saying that, you know, if you broaden that statistic, you
Sure.
are more likely in general just to be murdered by somebody you know. So, of course,
But men are much less likely to be murdered by, their
that's
intimate
not
partners.
true.
Yes,
It
is.
Yeah, I'm sure, because men are less likely to be murdered by women. Full stop. Exactly. So that statistic makes sense to me. I'm still not sure how this correlates to whether or not
The sexual revolution increased women's ability to leave the house, women's ability to control their own reproductive capabilities, women's ability to, control their own capacity within the workforce in regards.
Yeah, this totally deserves 6 million views, and everyone totally should be gushing over Candace Owens. I don't know about you guys, but I'm highly impressed with how she's destroyed this lady so far. So we're one feminist in, and this is just riveting. 6 million views. Deserves more. It deserves 60 million. Actually, it deserves 66.6 million views for how awesome and revolutionary it is. This is what people are watching and gushing over. Russell Brand is a biological woman. Sup, Jake? Hey, you know what? You might have a point. You might have a point. And you know what? Candace, not the most feminine looking lady I've ever seen. Candace has some masculine features. So when you stick Candace and Russell on screen, wouldn't shock me if, they were both the opposite thing of what they're portraying to be. Got another super chat came in. Mike Gustard said, can't send the message I want without editing. I can't use the word Freemason anywhere online anymore without being shadow banned. Well, you somehow got this super chat to go through. So congrats on that. Hopefully you got to say enough of what you wanted to say. Mike, it's a constant issue to express yourself online and not get censored and shadow banned. I know it all too well. That's why I'm going to try and stream more often so I can express myself, because I get away with the most while I'm live streaming. So I've been thinking that I should try and live stream more often and say what I can, a few hours a day, and then take the best clips of whatever I say on the live streams and turn that into videos, So I try and do my best to keep telling the truth. And they mess with my channel. They down throttle me. They steal my subscribers. They stack the deck against me. But they know that I'm profitable, so they keep me around. And they like to steal my ideas with their shills and whatnot. So I know what it's like to have them keep me around and shadow ban me at the same time. Let me make sure I'm caught up on super chats here. Oh, Kelly Yamaguchi sent one, and I totally missed it. My bad, Kelly, if you're still watching. So yeah, any situation where they're going to set up 20 people versus one, psychologically, you're going to want to root for the one person who's taking on the 20. And there's a lot of hatred online for hardcore feminists as it is by right-wingers. So it's obvious that this video was made specifically to appeal to right-wing men. Kelly Yamaguchi said, Candace versus 20 lib who read sheep tactics with 3 E's. That's exactly what I was just saying. So I'm glad I got to go back and grab your super chat as I was explaining exactly what you're saying here. So these are set up opponents, you guys. And so far, this first girl who she's talking with, Candace hasn't really done much to like own her or destroy her yet. So far, it's just like, oh, statistics say that women get murdered. Yeah, well, what does that have to do with the revolution? 60%. So far in the first 2 minutes, nobody's owned anybody. It's just been a waste of time.
To their own sexual capacity. So it is the very fact that like the sexual revolution happened that made our access to the workplace much more, or just the public sphere in general, much more easy. So like without the sexual revolution, women would be much more confined to the place where they're at the most danger. Isn't that true?
So you think that just so
Shit, I missed a super chat just a little bit earlier from and One Ballers. My bad, brother. Let me go back and snag that one real quick. And then we'll continue with busting Candace Owens' balls here. And then we'll move on to some other controlled opposition shills who used to be famous. Oh, I read that one from Amber. I think it was right before this. Gotta keep scrolling. Yeah. Here it is. And One Baller says, you prove a lot of what the Bible has been saying. There you go. I prove a lot of what the Bible has been saying. And I'm not even a Bible thumper. So like, I'm not even sitting here trying to prove stuff from the Bible at all. I'm just doing what I usually do. Point out the shills, explain why they're shills, break down the fake news, make connections, yada, yada. And so And One Ballers sending a super chat saying that I prove a lot of what the Bible's saying. I'll take that as a compliment. All right.
So I'm trying to understand your argument here. You think that if we didn't have the sexual revolution, less women or more women would be murdered? Are you saying that women are
More women would be murdered for sure.
Okay. I disagree with that. I still don't think it has anything to do with the claim that women are infinitely less happy because of the sexual revolution, which has devalued
I think
women.
you'd probably be less happy if you're being murdered.
Oh,
You'll be less happy if you're being murdered. Hilarious. So hilarious. I see why this got 6 million views. So entertaining. Amber coming in with a super chat said, agree with Mike Gustad. Now I forgot what Mike Gustad said. Oh yeah, he said, can't use the word Freemason without being shadow banned, and that you have to edit what you say. Yeah, apparently Amber tried to send some super chats the other night, but YouTube kept rejecting her messages. And it only worked when she basically edited anything that she wanted to say out. All right.
Anyone disagree?
okay. Yeah, I don't. Okay. okay. There is definitely a correlation between personal relationships and domestic violence. And just to be clear,
Right.
if we're talking about just like monogamous relationships, the most violent relationships that are on the books are between lesbian partners. Yes, when people are intimate,
That's not a
that is actually true.
No, that's
The most violent relationships on the books are between lesbian partners. No, that's not true. Yes, it is true.
statistic you're talking about is people who have faced domestic violence. Lesbians, yes, are more likely to have faced domestic violence, but that's because they typically came from relationships with men in which they were mistreated.
Oh, the lesbians came from relationships with men where they were mistreated. You see this mind fuckery here?
relationships are the most violent relationships that we have
Not
on
true,
the book.
but we can move
Statistically, they
on.
can fact check that claim. The point being is that it's not exactly a stunning statistic to say that when people are in relationships, period, whether those relationships are homosexual, whether they're
But
married,
you're
whether they're
saying
in the
that
home.
the sexual
Let
revolution.
me finish. I've let you try to explain how this is
Go ahead,
correlated to
go.
happiness, and I don't think it
My thoughts exactly.
does. I actually think you're having a different debate right now. But yes, absolutely. It makes perfect sense that you are more likely in general when you are in a relationship because people are driven by anger by people that they know, whether or not we're talking about boyfriend and girlfriend.
I'm sorry, but Candace is not owning or destroying this first lady at all. So far, this has been a fucking huge waste of time, and we're only 3 minutes and 49 seconds in. And this has just been nothing. Like, I would have dispatched with the first girl, like, within 30 seconds to a minute and really humiliated the first girl to move on to the next one and make me look super impressive. Not impressive at all. So if I was some dipshit Trump voter looking at Candace Owens for the first time, I wouldn't be too impressed. And I'm not a dipshit Trump voter. I'm way smarter than that. So I'm really, really, really not impressed. In fact, I can't understand why anybody's ever jumped on this ladies bandwagon at all. Not sure how this person got so many subs. Not sure why people are sharing that video. Candace Owens owns 20 feminists. Did she really? First girl, you ain't got shit. Now get in the kitchen. They just argued over statistics. Nobody got owned. They just wasted our fucking time bringing up something that's irrelevant to any of us. 60% domestic violence and lesbian, blah, blah, blah. Who fucking cares? Nobody. Thanks for wasting our time. Next. Candace Owens. So there you go, guys. I don't need to look any further. The video where she's getting millions of views sucks donkey dicks. Nobody should find that amusing or entertaining. And the last thing she did on her channel was hanging out with Russell Brand. So there you go. What does that tell you? All right. So let's move on to some other shills, celebrity shills, former celebrities, I guess. And I'll show you how far some of them have fallen. All right. So this is what happens when you used to be a big hit on TV, but now you don't really have the draw that you used to, and they don't really know what to do with you. So they send you over to YouTube to cuck the truth community.
Greetings, Earthlings and humans and others of all stripes, nationalities, colors, forms, beliefs, what have you, and especially animals, the most intelligent of all living beings, because unlike us, animals do not need to bullshit themselves in order to enjoy life, which is fantastic, a thing that humans should learn from. But unfortunately, humans are bullshit addicts, and they can't live one fucking minute without swallowing 10 yards of bullshit using both fucking hands. Welcome to the Roseanne Barr podcast.
So the title, Don't Let Commies Split MAGA.
You guys don't let the commies come along and split MAGA. Everybody's bullshit. animals are better than people because animals go shit in the woods and people spew bullshit from their mouth. Welcome to the Roseanne Barr podcast. We don't want to let the commies split MAGA. Fucking bullshit. Ah.
Yeah, believe it or not, this person's no longer a draw in the movie theater or on television. So they send her over to cuck the truth community and the right wingers. And guess what? It's not really working anymore. Look at this.
Hi, everybody.
554,000 subscribers, right? Former television star. 16,000 views, 23,000, 6.3 thousand views. Shit, I get more than that on some of my videos, right? 8.9 thousand views. Some of these are really low, some of these view counts. 4.7 thousand. So whenever I have a video that does like only 5 or 6,000 views, I consider it a disappointment. And here's Roseanne Barr, who has 550,000 subs, getting less than 5,000 views on some of these uploads. 3,500 views. Wow. Right? Look at this.
Only on Saturday.
Greetings, Earthlings. You know, I always say, oh, I'm so excited. Anyway, I have a million thoughts. But you know how I always say, greetings, Earthlings? Well, and human beings and, Nephilim, what are...
Look at this. This looks really strange. And look what show she's on, you guys.
Are they, Jake? Nephilim, Anunnaki, whoever's here, you know.
The Nephilim.
Any of the Nephilim or the Anunnaki who are here watching right now?
Animals, especially.
All life forms. All
life
beings.
forms.
Yes.
All conscious beings. Thank you. I'm so excited today because you know how I love to talk to geniuses. But I was going to say, if the beings from other planets who are smarter than us, who are probably on equal level to animals, I love animals. They're smarter than...
You guys hear how fucking retarded this person sounds? I don't even know. This almost looks like an AI Roseanne now. You see what I'm saying? Look at this. So here she is hanging out with the last version of Alex Jones. And so this version of Alex Jones has dark eyes. Look. Darker colored eyes. And then the latest version of Alex Jones has these light blue eyes. And so Alex Jones got swapped out like 8 months ago, a year ago. This is not the Bill Hicks version of Alex Jones. But this guy right here has darker eyes. And the most recent Alex Jones, I'll pull up a picture and show you a quick side by side. So there was like a few different Alex Jones switcheroos that happened recently. All right, so check it out. This version of Alex Jones is from May, so only a few months ago. And then the recent Alex Jones, this. Look at these light blue eyes. So now people are going to say, Jake, Alex Jones wears contact lenses now and took Ozempic. Right? Look. See, so this latest version of Alex Jones clearly has light bluish green eyes. But the one that's hanging out with Roseanne definitely not light blue. But this isn't the original Bill Hicks version of Alex Jones either.
So, I mean, I was just young and wanted to be able to get on every platform I could because I wanted to tell people about this stuff. And so that's why I had success. And then that system persecuted me and came after me. So we had the Streisand effect. So, God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
So here's the problem with me doing an Alex Jones impression, y'all. There's an old Alex Jones who used to have a lot of energy, and he used to cut a promo like he was a freaking pro wrestler, and he was going to come through the screen, and he was going to grab the deep state by their goddamn throat, and he was going to choke them, and then he was going to go next door and eat his neighbor's ass. But now, folks, there's new Alex Jones. And new Alex Jones doesn't have any of that old energy. In fact, new Alex Jones likes to sit in his car and make weird faces, talk about how he's going to cry and puke. So there's old Alex Jones, the one who I built my impression upon. And then there's new Alex Jones, who's like an AI version, a castrated version of the old version, who makes weird faces and sits in the car and talks about how he's gonna be. Makes faces that Alex Jones never made before. Now, I personally prefer the old Alex Jones, who was animated and who had grandiose visions of beating the deep state's ass. Folks, when we rally behind Trump, we are going to rally behind the American flag, and we will be victorious. We will rise from the ashes, and we will defeat the deep state. We will be victorious. That's the Alex Jones I like. That's the Alex Jones I miss. And sadly, the new guy, he's more like a castrated version, a very low energy version. He's quite literally a shell of what Alex Jones used to be. And the sad thing is, if I do an impression of the new Alex Jones, it's going to sound like this. And it's not going to sound like this, the old Alex Jones. So I'm going to have to differentiate when I do my impression. And you guys are going to have to tell me, Jake, I would like you to do classic Alex Jones, the good Alex Jones, the fun Alex Jones. Or I want you to tell me that you want me to do low energy Alex Jones, the one who sits in the car and makes weird faces and is going to cry and puke. So you are going to have to send me a specific request for whether you want me to do old or new Alex Jones. Otherwise, I just won't know which one to do. There you go. Go try and find another channel who can recreate that bit.
Yes, absolutely. I do want to talk to you about God because you are very educated in that subject. In fact, I always go, he's a mystic.
There was another super chat from RL that came in just before that one that I missed. Okay, guys, so as you can see, Roseanne ties back to Alex Jones. And then we go look at Roseanne's channel. She's struggling to get views, right? And this was somebody who at one time had 20 to 30 million people watching every week. Shows you how far some of these celebs fall. How hard it is to stay on top in that industry. And since they have sold their soul, it's almost like they tell Roseanne, we need you to keep doing this podcast out of your basement, and we'll send you the guests and we'll tell you what to talk about. But you're not allowed to just sit and retire. So they're not allowed to retire. They have to continue, which would make sense if they had a contract with the devil, so to speak, that they have to work until they die. Oh, okay. I already read that one. So it was the one you sent before this. One sec, guys. RL sent a super chat just before this one, and I don't want to accidentally skip it. Come on, come on. Here it is, finally. He says, freebasing is okay, but not Freemason. I hope you're kidding, bro. I know you're kidding. All right. Glad I went back and tracked down that super chat.
Alex Jones is a mystic.
Well, I have had a lot of what you call mystic experiences in my life.
But the way you put thoughts together, I mean, it's very powerful and it's narrative destroying stuff. So I want.
See the way that Roseanne just stroked Alex Jones?
Educated in that subject. In fact, I always go, he's a mystic.
She's smoking a cigarette while she's on the show. Alex Jones is a mystic.
Alex Jones is a mystic.
Alex Jones is a mystic.
Well, I have had a lot of what you call mystic experiences.
Well, I have had a lot of what you call mystic experiences.
But the way you put thoughts together, I mean, it's very powerful.
The way you put thoughts together is very powerful. Alex Jones is like a visionary. He's like a wordsmith. He's like a mystical warlock or something.
And it's narrative destroying stuff.
He like destroys narratives with his words that are powerful.
So I wanted to ask you about your faith, because I feel like you're always talking about your faith and it's deeply felt. I can tell it's deeply felt by you. And I wanted to ask you how core is that to everything you do?
Well, we went to church and stuff when I was a child, but I really wasn't that attracted to it because it just seemed kind of like a pep rally. But the archetypes of good versus evil, and then experiencing the Holy Spirit and being given discernment, basically told the future, or certainly given inclinations of it, and then in many events where I was just literally not very often, but sometimes actually like hear a voice.
It just makes me uncomfortable to even watch, but only a few minutes. Like I can only handle like 10 minutes or so, and then I have to shut it off. Like this is an hour and 20 minutes. I would never subject you guys to all of this. I just wanted to show you guys that if you look at what these shills are doing late in their career, like why in the fuck would Roseanne feel the need to do this? You think she cares enough about the truth that she wants to go do this? And then you look at her channel, it's like it's failing. Like it's not working. She's getting less and less views. The guests are less and less famous. And here's the deal. It's not just Roseanne. There's other examples, Jim Brewer. Why does Jim Brewer feel the need to do the Jim Brewer verse and have guests? Because he loves the truth and he wants to hang out with these guests and he wants to make this content for us. Doesn't fucking make sense. So somebody like Jim Brewer, who was famous for being a stoner in Half Baked, but never could find fame in any other sort of television show or movie. But then he had a long career just doing stand-up, and he's a successful stand-up comedian. Why does he do a podcast on YouTube where he brings on sketchy shill guests? Why? Why would Jim Brewer do that when he could just do comedy? It's almost like he's been told to do it. So let me show you another example of what it looks like a man who's contracted into doing these things that he doesn't even want to do. So it seems like Jim Brewer doesn't want to do this, but he fucking has to. It doesn't seem to me like he wants to do this show at all. but he's being forced to do this fucking show.
Another day, another day.
That's right.
That's right. Another day, another. We're off to the races.
Always.
How you been with? Are you on social media a lot? You been doing good with that, or?
I mean, I'm on it as far as, you know, researching stuff for the show, or, you know, every now and then I'll just go brain rot and just sit on TikTok for
Sure.
however long.
Sure.
So he's got this guy who does research for the show and is obviously an engineer running the show. Yeah, imagine if I had somebody like that. But I don't. Who can afford to pay a fucking engineer?
As far as, you know, researching stuff for the show, or, you know, every now and then I'll just go brain rot and just sit on TikTok for
Sure.
however long.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I'm gonna try to see. I think I told you I've been getting up every morning, walking on the beach every morning, and just kind of chilling out. It's been really
Are you? Because I know.
Okay, what do we got? We have so for those of you who watched Flat Earth Dave.
So Jim Brewer brought Dave Weiss, the fucking scumbag shill at the tippity top of the controlled flat earth movement, the guy who sells the tracking app, which steals your data, tracks you, steals your data. This guy could probably open up your camera and take a look at you if you downloaded his Flat Earth app. And so Jim Brewer gave Dave his platform. Guess who's going to be his guest in this episode?
You know, when he came on, he said, "Listen, I didn't understand a lot of things he said. Certain things resonate with me, but I can't get into numbers and all that. And I'm tuning out. Once you start, I went to school. I hated school. So if you know the map and the 20 and the angle, I'm out. I'm not listening. I have someone on here who's going to come on, and he's wants to prove that flat Earth is absolute nonsense, and it's nonsense.
He's got someone who wants to prove that flat Earth is nonsense, and Jim is happy to have someone like this come on his show.
So again, I'm all ears, and I'd love to hear what he has to say. I'm assuming that Flat Earth Dave is driving him bonkers, and a lot of people bonkers. That's why I had, I had my friend Dave on, and another guy on, and engineers and science, and they kept going back and forth, and it's a conversation. It's like hanging out in the backyard. And that's all this is. That's all it is. Are we going to accomplish what is what? For some of you, yes. For others, no. But I am curious, and I'm super excited to listen. So please welcome Mr. Craig McNeil. What's up, Craig?
Hi, Jim. How you doing? Absolute pleasure to be here.
Craig, fight the fat ass, you guys. Craig! Spoiler alert, Micktoon is up next. Why is Jim Brewer bringing professional globe cucks, the most annoying fucking globe cuck shills in the goddamn world? Why is Jim Brewer giving these men a platform right after he had Dave Weiss on his show? You bring in the king of flat earth shillery, the most rich, obnoxious flat earth shill, and then you bring in the most obnoxious globe cuck shills? Who's dumb enough to think Jim Brewer does this on his own accord? Why would Jim Brewer ever do this? Why would a guy who has a comedy career doing stand-up feel the need to spend time doing this on fucking YouTube? Unless he's been told to. Unless he has to. That's the only reason. The only reason Jim is doing this is because he has to. There's no other reason why Jim would do this. Jim is famous for being a stoner on Half Baked. Fully, man. Fully. I think it's like more complex than that. Well, fully, man. Like that's what he's famous for. And he never could do anything as famous as that character from Half Baked. His days on Saturday Night Live are long gone. Hardly anyone remembers Goat Boy. Hardly anyone remembers that. So he was making a living doing stand-up for many, many years, just a grinding stand-up guy who didn't have a career in movies or television, but he would consistently do stand-up. But then he feels the need to do this show, and he's got his own engineer. And the engineer, I guess, assigns him guests, picks out topics for him, because it seems like he showed up to this show barely even knowing what's happening. Like he doesn't even really want to do this. And then his guest, fucking Craig Fight the Fat Ass. So you become a movie star. You're on top of the world, right? You got money, you got chicks, you got fame. But then on the back end, you got to have Craig Fight the Fat Ass on your show. And you got to promote him and hear him out and hear what he has to say. This is the dark side of when some sellout fucking shill who can't make it in Hollywood or on TV, what they're up to these days. Fucking loser ass. Jim Brewer. Gonna sit here and smile and give this cocksucker his platform.
Where are you from, Craig?
I'm from Bristol originally, but I now live in Scotland. Ended up staying here after meeting my wife up here when I was in the Navy. And it's cold all of the time.
I don't know how you do. I love Scotland.
It's a beautiful country, absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous country, but it is cold and rainy, 99% of the time. I'm really glad to talk to you, Jim. You're actually in one of my favorite movies from the early 2000s. You played an alien chef that didn't like that humans put ketchup on their food.
And the world truly is smaller than everyone anticipates.
Oh, yeah.
Now, now, whether it's flat or circle, that's what we'll get into.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I definitely want to.
Now, whether it's flat or circle, that's what we'll get into.
Well, yeah.
Well, whether it's flat or circle, that's what we'll get into. I'm a character right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. I definitely want to get into that because.
And then check it out. He's got this motherfucker as well. MC Toon. Where's he at? Just had it on screen. There it is. With his Metallica shirt.
Same things can be downloaded for
and to make that
thing. And password in the clear can be extracted with nominal effort.
So he's got Mick Toon and Craig on his show. For those of you who don't know, those guys are professional globe cucks. Their whole channel is based on making fun of flat Earth, making fun of flat earthers, and saying that the Earth is a globe. That's their whole job. And so the fact that Jim Brewer is giving these guys the time of day, these absolute twats. Not only that, both these guys have made videos, multiple videos, slandering me, calling me stupid because I'm a flat earther. So Jim Brewer was in a movie, and I watched the movie when I was a kid, when I was a teenager and shit. I used to get stoned and watch Half Baked. I never dreamed in a fucking million bazillion years in my wildest dreams that I would be watching Jim talk to globe cucks who have fucking slandered me. I'm literally looking at Jim Brewer giving his platform to globe cucks who have slandered me. And he's sitting there smiling and yucking it up with these fucking globe cuck losers who have taken time out of their day, multiple hours, to slander me. A guy who tells you that the Earth ain't a globe. Think about that. Think about that. It's a bit of a mind fuck on my end to see this. Like Jim Brewer is at the point of his career where he's going to bring Nicktoon and Craig on his fucking show? He's not even just pretending to be a truther. He's just some sort of goddamn evil scumbag if he's going to let these motherfuckers speak on his podcast. Straight up, if you let Nicktoon and Craig come on your podcast and say anything, then you are an evil, no good fucking piece of shit. RL says, if you talk about the Talmud and kid effing per their documents, they get all upset. Kid effing is part of the Talmud. Can you talk about what's going on in Palestine and how our government is taken over by AI pack? Pretty pathetic. That's not really something I go into as much. I like to focus on what's going on where I live in my country. And so I've never been to Palestine. I've never been to Israel. I've never been anywhere over there. Okay. And so, like, all the propaganda I get, it's like, it doesn't resonate with me. So what resonates with me is the fake news going on where I live. You see? So when I wake up and I walk outside, I'm in California in the United States. So I am more inclined to look at what's going on in my country and talk about that, because the core of my audience is mostly Americans and I'm an American. And so, like, looking at a bombed out building on the news and acting like I should give a fuck, I just don't care at all. So all the war footage that they show on TV is like a bunch of clipped together fucking propaganda. So for me to not live anywhere near there, not experience any of that at all, why would I waste my time blibbing and blabbing about that when there's other things that I can be breaking down that I feel a lot more confident talking about? And I feel like I can get through to more people. So yeah, if you're into what's going on in Israel and Palestine and shit like that, go follow channels who talk about that. It's just not my thing. You know? I'm sitting here, showing you how Jim Brewer is interviewing some globe cuck shills. Two guys who have made videos about me. Think about that. It's fucking weird, man. So yeah, for me to stop doing what I'm doing when I'm totally into it and then go do this other thing that I don't care about. Sorry, man. So thanks for the money, but no, not going to do it. I was actually saying to a dude who rents an office here when he asked me about the war, because there's a Russian dude and he doesn't speak that much English and he rents an office here, and he was asking me about the war. And I was like, here's the thing. They show a bunch of fake shit on the news. And so I see a picture of an airplane. I see a picture of a building that's been destroyed. I see a picture of a explosion. And then I see CGI pictures of planes dropping bombs. And so if I see a clip of a plane, a clip of an explosion, and a clip of a building that's been destroyed, they want me to believe that was destroyed in a war, but I don't get to see the plane actually blow up the building. So they want me as an American to see a building that's been destroyed, a clip of a plane, and a CGI bomb, and combine all of that together into me thinking millions of people are being killed by bombs. And so I'm not there to see any of it. And when I walk outside, none of that's going on. So where I live, none of the buildings are being bombed. And so why should I give a fuck about something that's happening in some other country that I can't do anything about? And the footage that they're showing me is fake and bullshit and stitched together. And when I was saying this to the Russian dude, he was like, so you don't care? Like he was like, you don't care about those people? And I had to put it to him like, do you think people over there give a fuck about the Texas floods? Go to Iran or Israel or anywhere else outside of America and tell them that people lost their homes in the Texas floods. They won't give a fuck. So if people don't give a fuck about the Americans who lost their homes in the Texas floods, why should I give a fuck about any place where I don't live that gets bombed? You can't make me give a fuck. I'm not going to pretend to give a fuck. And those people who live over there, whose country is war-torn, tell them that someone lost their home in Paradise, California. They don't give a flying goddamn shit tit. So why should I fucking care? I don't. So I openly just don't give a fuck about stuff that people pretend to care about. People virtue signal, oh, it's so terrible what's happening over in Israel. When I go out and walk my dog, none of that's going to fucking matter to me at all. Until they start bombing buildings where I live, then I don't give a shit. When I walk outside with my dog and I see a plane drop a bomb and blow the fuck out of places in front of my eyes, I'll be like, whoa, the shit just hit the fan. And guess what? People who live in other places aren't going to feel sorry for me if where they live, there is no war. See? Oh, but Jake, there's all these people being genocided. Yeah, like the white man here in America. How many people really give a fuck about that who aren't white and don't live in America? How am I going to get people to care about the white man being genocided here in America? OJ and Toothpaste 2 says, can you please expose this idiot? Would love your reaction to this. Okay. I'll ditch this video that I'm showing here because I pretty much said what I need to say about it. And I'll go to whatever you're suggesting and click on it. All right, so I'm going to react to something I have no idea what I'm going to react to starting now.
Pickle menu. I didn't have high hopes for the Picklerita slush, and it didn't surprise me. Like, listen, I love pickles, but the icy slushy texture with the tart kind of sour pickle juice was just a little bit off-putting for some reason. And the popping boba was filled with more pickle juice, so it was just like a really intense, salty, pickly flavor. And then a whole pickle slice floating on top was just a little bit too intense. I was really excited for the dill smash burger though, because it has crispy pickle chips and regular pickle slices, which were great, but the smash burger didn't have those crispy edges, and it.
Okay, I'm confused. You wanted me to review this? Bro, when I clicked on your link, it took me to this. Is this what you wanted, or did you accidentally send me the wrong link? I feel like you sent me the wrong link on accident, bro.
Wasn't really juicy or buttery either. But they also had pickle seasoned tots. I think they needed more seasoning though, because the flavor was pretty mild. The sauce was nice and tangy though, and they were crunchy. I feel like the pickle flavor came through a little bit more with the fries actually. Maybe just because they're thinner, or maybe there was a little bit more. I don't know. And it's not pickle flavored, but I had to get some onion rings because they're always so thick, and the breading is almost soft in the middle with a great crunch. And did you even go to Sonic if you didn't get French toast sticks? Like, they're definitely a little bit oily, but so rich and satisfyingly sweet with crispy edges and a really soft inside.
All right. I'm convinced that you accidentally sent this and that you wanted me to watch something else. What the fuck was that? I like pickles though, so I'm actually somewhat hungry now after watching that. He says he just hates people who do. Oh, okay. So you did want me to watch that. See, I actually do like pickles. And so, you know, something like fried pickles or, you know, a shitload of pickles all over a burger. Oh, sounds good to me. A pickle slushy? I don't know about that. That's a little weird. I like pickles too, Jake. Me too, Sunflower. We like pickles. Do you guys know Ralph's mom is named Pickle? Yep. My dog's mother is named Pickle. Replacement Skylight says, hey, Jake, is Caitlin Clark a man? ESPN is cramming women's b-ball down people's throats, and I'm pretty sure that's their new dolls got balls. Yeah, so that's like the face of women's basketball, and you're not the first person to point that out or ask. It appears, yes, you are correct. She look like a man. Now, can I reach down her pants and grab hold of her schlong and confirm it for myself? No, can't do that. I totally would if I was given the chance. Just kidding. But seriously, yeah, probably most likely. That would make sense. That dude looks like a lady. That dude looks like a lady. Na 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 na. Jung na 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 na. Na 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 na. Jung na na na. Well, Caitlin Clark is playing b-ball, and she looks like she has some bizzles. Cause she looks like a man and she looks like a dude. She got the body of a lady, but she's looking like a dude. Yeah. That dude look like a lady. That dude look like a lady. Wow, yeah. Waka cow, 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 cow. Waka cow, 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 cow. Had to get in those wacka-cacka cows. All right. Yes, Steven Tyler looking more and more like a lady, which makes that song so much more funny and ironic. All right, so the other thing I wanted to show you guys was that Elmo got hacked. Elmo's Twitter, you guys. I don't know if you guys heard the story. Elmo has a Twitter. So a famous puppet has a Twitter. And the Twitter got hacked. And Elmo said some naughty stuff. Now, Elmo said such naughty stuff that I can't read word for word what Elmo said, but I did find a channel that censored the things that Elmo tweeted. And so I think I can get away with showing you a clip from another channel, showing you a censored version of what hacked Elmo said. Because, guys, Elmo basically said he wants all of the J's, all of the J people to be exterminated. Yeah. So a puppet has a Twitter account. The Twitter account is hacked, and the account says that it wants all of the J's to be exterminated. Oh, these funny script writers. So clever. So this one is a video from another channel talking about what I can't really talk about, because if I talk about it, and I read if I was to read what Elmo said, the video could come down. So I was wondering how exactly I'm going to report on what Elmo said, because if I was to read word for word everything that Elmo said, the video could easily be demonetized, struck down. Hell, the whole channel could even come down. So we're going to have to watch a censored version of what Elmo said. And then I'll give you guys my Elmo impression and tell you what Elmo really thinks. Here we go.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And Elmo loves you, unless you're Jewish. Then he doesn't love you very much. Man, Elmo got hacked. I think it was last night. the official Elmo account, and he was rattling off some pretty spicy anti-Semitic hot takes on X. But they've secured the account. But we're going to take a look at what he said. We are going to bleep some of that.
Okay, just before we get to Elmo and what he said, I missed a super chat from RL. So let me go back and grab that real quick. And then we'll get into what Elmo said here. Okay, RL says, I like your honesty. Some nasty shit going down there. Apparently good things. We have our guns. Hey, yeah, at least we have our guns, bro. But the elites don't mind letting us keep our guns because the right-winger gun owners are dying out. And then the next generation of libs and sheep are convinced that guns are bad. So they're just going to go ahead and wait for the gun lovers to die out. And then the younger generations, they don't like guns, and they've been convinced that guns are bad. So they're more willing to vote away their gun ownership rights. And then, of course, the elites have us surrounded with technology that make the guns obsolete, to where even if you ever did think you were going to fight back with an army, they could just turn on the towers that they have us surrounded by to full blast and melt all of us, you know, in a flip of a switch, for all we know. All right, here we go. Elmo got hacked.
That out, obviously, because YouTube, we don't want YouTube to be like, you think that. It's like, no, we're just repeating what the puppet said.
That's just
it.
what the puppet said. Yes.
That's just what the puppet said. I still think this is payback for Larry David. I'm joking. I'm last year. I think it was last year. Let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Go out to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com for more podcast, paywalled content that you will not find over here on YouTube. Thank you very much for the support, guys. So, yeah, we have to walk it back a little bit. I think this was this morning or last night. The Elmo account got hacked.
Hacked Elmo account shares anti-Semitic posts.
And it posted a whole bunch of anti-Semitic posts and called Trump Netanyahu's puppet.
Calls Trump Netanyahu's puppet. So they have the script writer have Elmo go on an anti-Semitic rant. And we all know there's a lot of hardcore extreme right-wingers who they're like half awakened, and they'll be quick to take the anti-Semitic bait and consider that the person who runs the Elmo Twitter account must be some based, awakened individual.
So,
Yeah, it wasn't good.
but you're supposed to laugh, like, get it? Netanyahu's puppet? Get it? Get it? Yeah, okay. Anyway, you have the bleeped out version of it,
Yes.
or mostly bleeped out. So just gonna warn you. This might trigger some of you, so you can turn the video off or whatever. But this is coming from the official account. Elmo says all J-word should die. F J-word. Donald Trump is Netanyahu's puppet because he is in the Epstein files. J-word control the world and need to be exterminated.
So the reason I'm showing you guys this video is because they have the words covered and they're saying J people, J word, right? So I'm not trying to set off a bunch of alarm bells and sensors. I'm not actively trying to get my own fucking content taken down, right? So when people are like, oh, talk about the J's, call out the J's. Well, I'll show you Elmo's Twitter being hacked and tell you about how this is some scripted bullshit where the evil J's can set you up and give you bait so that you run with this and get your own content taken down, get your own self-censored. But I'm not stupid enough to get my own self-censored by reading that. I don't want YouTube to think that I'm saying that about the J-word people and just to give them a reason to take down my video. See, so that's why I have to show you this censored version. But you can use your own brain and you can see what they're having the Elmo account say. So think about this. What are the chances that the Elmo account is organically hacked and that the person who hacks it just so happens to be anti-J word? And this is seen by millions of people. Think about it. No, Adam, it's not that we can't say that word. It's that if I read that all of those people should be exterminated. I don't want to set off any alarm whistles or have the algorithm think that I'm saying that. You get what I'm saying? That's why I have to show this censored fucking version of another channel talking about it so I can not get censored. I've been on here for almost 10 years, you guys. And you know why I've been on here for almost 10 years and I haven't been taken down? Because I'm fucking smart about not saying certain things and still being able to say exactly what I want. So I'm telling you, the script writers came up with this fucking story where Elmo's Twitter account got hacked. And they have Elmo's hacked account say anti-Semitic things. So that anybody who agrees with this sort of thing, who agrees with these anti-Semitic statements, takes this bait and runs with it and acts like whoever hacked Elmo's account did something heroic. And then they can get you to share this and agree with it, and then they can censor you, take you down. So if you share this post by Elmo and you say, oh yeah, I totally agree with this, well, then they got you. See what I'm saying? Now they got you agreeing that the J people need to be exterminated. And they set you up with a fucking a puppet's Twitter account being hacked. A fucking puppet that's famous. A famous puppet. An actual puppet. Not a puppet on the world stage, but an actual hand up the fucking ass puppet. Elmo from Sesame Street, a show I used to watch when I was a kid. I was like 5 years old, you guys, and I would watch Sesame Street. My mom stuck me in front of the TV. I'll bet you many of you had parents who stuck you in front of the television and you watched Sesame Street. I can't be the only one. So if Sesame Street has been around this long and the Elmo character has been around this long to where millions of people know who and what Elmo is, and Elmo has a motherfucking Twitter account, and Elmo's motherfucking Twitter account gets hacked and says all the J people should be exterminated. Okay. That definitely naturally, organically happened. Nothing weird about any of that. See, so these people on screen telling you about it, they're not smart enough to tell you that this was fucking scripted and that this is bait for anti-Semites to take hold of. So anybody who doesn't like the Jays, I totally understand why you don't like the J people. But if you were so dumb as to take this bait and share it and agree with it in public, well, now they can paint you out like you are a villain, right? And then they can remove you from these social media sites because you're spreading hate speech. So I have to be real careful as to not read what Elmo said so that they can't claim that I'm spreading hate speech. And I'm very careful. So when people are like, why don't you talk about the Jays? It's because there's a lot of bait being pushed when it comes to the Jays. They want you to be as brazen as to talk openly about how it's all the Jays doing all the evil stuff. And then they can slap you with hate speech, remove you. Tristan Spindler says, I spend $19.99 on a background check for something. It came with 3 searches. One of them, we background checked Matthew Priscilla, and old ODD had no hits. What do you mean had no hits? Matthew Priscilla is an SEX offender. That's online for anyone to go look up. So I don't know what you mean by had no hits. I've never done a background search on myself, but apparently I'm on a government watch list. But, you know, of course I am. I didn't know that that comes up on a background check, but I remember I rented a room from a guy who did a background check on me, and he told me that I was on a government watch list. But he still rented me the room. Tristan said, spelling very suspicious on Matthew Priscilla. My wife and I both think he's definitely a guardrail shill. Interesting. So one of the things about Jaron was you used to be able to find a mugshot and a record of Jaron being arrested in a Bitcoin scam, but then it's been scrubbed from the internet. But I've seen Jaron Campanella in a mugshot, and I remember seeing the information that he was busted in a Bitcoin scam, but that has been scrubbed from the internet. So I think these government shills, once they're working alongside the government, they can go back and scrub certain things, take certain things off guys' record, off of certain websites even.
Damn, Elmo. Damn.
It's only these 3 posts, right? And then they got control.
Yeah, then they got to it. Yeah. Release the files, Donald Trump, child effer.
Yeah.
Kill all J words.
Release the files. See, that's propaganda. What files? Epstein? Anyone who's talking about Epstein and files is a fucking idiot who's falling for a psychological operation. There's a reason why you don't see me deep diving into Epstein. It's because it's a rabbit hole that goes to nowhere. It leads to bullshit land. And meanwhile, you have everybody jumping down the rabbit hole. So, for instance, Ass Mongold is going to tell you all about Donald Trump on Epstein Island and Epstein this and Epstein that. And he's going to get tens of millions of views, you know, just telling you like what the TV is telling you. Meanwhile, I'm the guy who's like, hey, you never even knew who Epstein was until the TV came along and told you who he was, showed you pictures of him with Trump, talked about his island. You never saw anything go down on his island. So you don't see me fucking talking about Epstein shit like everyone else. And so Elmo's Twitter account gets hacked, says all J people should be exterminated. Fuck the J people. Epstein says Epstein files. So Elmo says all J people should die. Fuck J's. Donald Trump is Netanyahu's puppet because he is in the Epstein files. Jays control the world and need to be exterminated. Release the files, kill all Jays. See, so there's a lot of people who will repeat that. Oh, it's the evil Jays. All the evil Jays are the ones doing it. Everything evil is because of the Jays. Jake, talk about the Jays. Why don't you expose the Jays? Well, are you stupid enough to also say release the Epstein files? All the Jays are the problem. It's the evil Jays. Release the Epstein files. Epstein, Jays. See, it's like fucking bait that they want you to take and run with. Trust me, if Elmo's account got hacked and they didn't want that information to get out, they could nuke it so fast it would never get through. And it would never be promoted by all these other channels. So this is information that they want out there. And anyone who feels a certain way against the J people, they want you to take this and run with it. Ain't happening. I've always been too smart to take conspiracy bait. I'm one of the few people that points out conspiracy bait. Meanwhile, there's all those other fucking shill conspiracy channels that are like, oh, Epstein files. Did you hear about what Epstein said? Did you hear about what happened on his island? Oh my God, Donald Trump and Epstein, they got together with these young girls. And did you hear what they did? I'm Riggs says, watch Goatus' new videos and he promotes being a lazy piece of shit and you will be natural and have children. He can't be serious, right? Goatus can't do live streams because they'll figure out where he's at. So he only uploads shit videos. And so he recently promoted Candace Owens. Amazing how that ties into what I talked about tonight. He promoted Candace Owens sitting around doing nothing. And oh yeah, and he says that if you don't have kids, your life never begins. So he says that having children is what makes your life worth living. Meanwhile, he hired a hitman to kill one of his children. So he tried to exterminate one of his 2 children via having a hitman throw a Molotov cocktail through his infant son's window. Yeah. And that's the guy who will tell you that your life doesn't begin until you have a child. A guy who tried to kill one of his own children. You can't make this shit up, man. Meanwhile, yeah, he's still out there. Still an international fugitive uploading content to YouTube on a daily basis. Still has people who follow him. In fact, I'll even show you. I'll make an example out of Goatus. And I even have a channel where I expose this guy. All right. So check it out. Here's another, a guy who I think is getting helped by YouTube. And I think YouTube knows all about this guy's dirty deeds, but they're providing him fucking a platform to continue pulling off his scams and shit. Check it out. We are all equal. And then he's got Rainbow, Star of David. Here's Candace Owens owns 20 feminists. So here he is literally promoting Candace Owens. He says everybody wants kids and that your life hasn't begun and your life never really will matter unless you have kids. But he tried to kill his own son. The worst shill. One of the worst humans ever, who still has an audience, still uploads. No matter what I do to expose him, he just continues on making those videos. Still has a crowd. All right, so we got through Rogan doing damage control for Alex Jones being replaced. We got Candace Owens exposed. I showed how she ties back to shills like Russell Brand. I gave some examples of some other former celebrities who tie back to Hollywood, who are being positioned as like right-winger truthers. Like Roseanne, Jim Brewer. I show how the guests who they have on are other shills. Like Roseanne has, Alex Jones as a guest. You have Jim Brewer promoting fucking Mick Toon and Craig Fight the Fat Earth. So, Yep, never trust a Hollywood celebrity pretending to be a truther. Anyone who ties back to Hollywood, never trust them at all, no matter what truth they tell you. They'll try and sink their claws into it by claiming that they're anti-vax, anti-Israel. If they tie back to Hollywood or television in any way, shape, or form, never to be trusted under any circumstances, no exceptions. And then finally, you got Elmo coming out with the anti-Semitic conspiracy bait. Don't take it. Don't fall for it. It's the J people who are writing that script who want you to be as stupid enough to fall for that. So there you go. So at this point, we'll just open it up and you guys can talk about whatever you want and make whatever comments you want, any requests you want, and I'll stick around a little longer and answer any questions you guys have. The last Trump says they're super rich for a reason, and it isn't because they're trustworthy people, they're puppets. So I would figure Roseanne's made enough money that she doesn't need to do that stupid YouTube show. And her YouTube channel looks like it's not doing very well for someone who has 550,000 subs. And like some of her videos are only getting 6,000 views. You know, she does a podcast and only gets like 20,000 views tops. It's like, why? It's almost like she's contracted and told to do that, right? Like if you're a former famous person and you've made millions, why not just sit on your money? Like, why would you feel the need to even do that? So the fact that there's, you know, Jim Brewer, Roseanne, they're firing up these podcasts and bringing on these god-awful guests, promoting these shills. It makes sense to me that like it's part of their contract that they have to do that. They have to continue this character until they die, basically. Would I 69 Roseanne for $1 million? Ugh, that's tough. I feel like if I really wanted to, just using the talents I have, I could make enough money to be comfortable that I don't need to have $1 million. But if I was to go another 20, 30 years and then be in a really terrible position and feel like I'll never be able to make good money and I'm up against it and I really need it. If I was in like a much worse position, I would consider it. But since I feel like I have the ability to, in the future, turn some of my ideas into enough money to where I can not worry about money, I'm going to say right now, I don't feel the need to have to take $1 million to 69 Roseanne, but shit, if in 20 years or whatever, you know, if like I was broke and had no other option, well, I guess I would consider it. But the thing is, no one's ever going to make me that offer. So to save my my online integrity, I'm going to say no, I would never do that. Never in a million years would I ever take $1 million to 69 Roseanne. That's funny. That's a funny question, though. That's like something that me and my friends used to do when we were teenagers. Just come up with like some lose-lose scenario. Would you rather make out with your mom or lick a cow's asshole? Bush Comics says, do you think there are non-humans at the top of the pyramid running things? I have brought that up before here in my live streams that at the tippiest of the tip top, is it a human? Is it a human? Is it a group of humans? Or is it something beyond human? Maybe it's something that's partially human, right? So yeah, I wonder at the tippiest of the tip top, what is it? Is it Satan himself? If so, in what form does Satan take? Like, is there actually a human who has the ultimate say-so in this world? The one who makes the final decisions? Or is it a group of dudes? And if so, who exactly are those dudes? One of the things that if I try to tell my dad that there's men in control behind the scenes, he goes, who? And if I can't give him the names, then he feels like he doesn't need to listen to anything I have to say. So if I tell my dad that men write a script for what's going to happen in the future, he'll go, who? And if I go, I don't know who the script writers are, he'll go, ah, and then he'll just consider whatever I'm saying to be incorrect because I don't know the names of the script writers. So yeah, there's no way to fucking know. If the people at the tippiest of the tip top don't want to be known, they can totally make themselves never to be known and then put a bunch of puppets in front of us. Like Donald Trump and fucking Putin and Kim Jong-un and all these fucking people, Bill Gates. So as long as they have puppets in front of us, we never get to know who's really, really in charge. And so if I try to explain it to my dad, that there's men in charge behind the scenes, his favorite question is who, and he says it like that. Tell me who. And if I go, I don't know. See, you don't know, so therefore you must be full of shit. So it's like I have to have a name to give him, and if I tell him Jacob Rockefeller, he'll just go, and shrug that off. So I can't even give him a name and have him fucking be satisfied. Adam says, is he? No, my dad doesn't drink, but he thinks that, like, if he asks me who, and if I don't know, he thinks that he's won the argument. I was talking about it in my live stream last night that I'm going to go confront my dad and try and wake him up and get it all on camera. And I'm going to have this documentary that I make where I'm going to like shoot down my dad's stupid arguments and like show us butting heads and show how like somebody who's awake and correct, what it looks like when you argue with a fucking sheep. And so I know you guys have had to deal with family members who are sheep and you've had to argue with them. And there's that deal where you try and tell someone the truth and you give them the truth and they just don't want to accept it. I want to capture that on camera so that you guys can be like, oh, that's exactly what it's like when I argue with my family or my old man, right? So I know that you guys will identify with what it's like to have a family member who you argue with and don't get along with. I want to capture that like in a documentary, like a cinematic, big, long video. So my plan is I'm going to go hang out with my dad for a few days and get him to argue with me on camera and then take the footage, cut it up all nice, and then show you guys what it looks like when an awakened individual who you know goes head to head with a shill. Not a shill, excuse me, a sheep. Goes head to head with a sheep. And in this case, it's my family member. And it'll totally prove that I'm like the most real dude because I'm going to bring my dad on camera and show you my real relationship with my dad and how we don't get along. It's like I want to capture the moment where we argue so that I can show people like, this is real drama between two real people. Replacement Skylight says, my sister does the exact same thing, Most people don't want to face the truth. They just want answers, whether it's the truth or not. It destroys their entire ego. Life is based on lies. Yeah, so I once got through to my dad and cracked his fucking head open when I showed him the lunar module on my big flat screen TV. I showed my dad the lunar module and I made him look at it. And for like an hour or two, I cracked this fucking brain open basically and got him to admit that this looks fake. I said, Dad, does this look like it went to outer space? And he goes, hold on. He goes, that doesn't look like it could leave the parking lot. So I got my dad to admit that the lunar module doesn't look like it could leave the parking lot. And then I showed him more clips of the moon landing, how it's fake. And then I showed him some clips of the ISS and how it's fake. And I actually got him to fucking see it for a minute. And actually think about it. And he was like, that ruins my whole plan. But he listened. And then he was kind of upset, like, I'm too old to learn something like that. Like he admitted he's too old to be given info like that. And so 6 months later, I want to say, I was talking to him on the phone and he said something stupid about outer space. And I was like, Dad, remember I showed you outer space is fake? And he had totally stricken the conversation from his memory and acted like he had no idea. Dad, don't you remember when I showed you the lunar module and I got you to agree that it looks like it wouldn't leave the parking lot? No. Dad, you said that it looked fake. Huh, if you say so. I don't remember that. So the one time I did get him to fucking say the lunar module looks fake, he forgets and he can't remember that he said that. So that means I'll have to sit him in front of the goddamn flat screen again and try and do it again. So I eventually want to catch that on camera. Me showing my dad the lunar module again, cracking his fucking head open again, forcing him to admit how fake it looks again. And then next time having it on camera to where if he forgets, I can fucking remind him. That's another reason why I want to go videotape my dad, is because he forgets when I fucking tell him shit. So yeah, imagine you filming your family member disagreeing with you and capturing on camera you winning an argument against your family member, you proving your family member wrong. And then you own that moment on camera. And then you can show it to other people and even show it to them. Like, get your ignorant family member to watch themselves on camera arguing with you. Get them to see what they look like. All right. So my plan is, you guys, to go create this documentary where I try and wake up my dad. And I'm going to get hours of footage of us butting heads. And it's going to be all real. Like me, my dad. I love my dad. I want to help him wake up. I know he's got a bunch of stupid, ignorant ideas in his head, and he wants to spout it off. So if I can capture what it's like to try and wake up a sheeple family member, it's like I'll have something that nobody else has. Like, what channel do you know has a documentary about how to try and wake up your family member and captures that argument with your ignorant sheeple family or ignorant sheeple friend? So some of you, maybe it's not a family member, maybe it's a close friend, right? I lost some close friends who stopped talking to me when I started talking about the earth being flat. There's people who used to be my friend when I was a bass player and a musician, but when I started talking about the earth being flat on YouTube, they didn't want nothing to do with me no more, right? So imagine, you go toe to toe with one of these people and catch the whole fucking thing on camera. That's my plan, is to capture that moment. Going toe to toe with somebody who's wrong when you know for sure you're right. Kelly Yamaguchi said, I tried to speak the truth to my siblings about this scripted world, but they don't want to listen, but expect my brother, who he finally opened his eyes back in 2009, or accept my brother, I think is what you meant to say, not expect. Don't want to listen, but accept my brother who finally opened up his eyes. So at least you got your brother, is what it sounds like, to listen. So it can be done. Family members can be at least partially awakened, even if they don't come to the same understanding about the truth as you do on all the different subjects. You can still partially awaken somebody. Like if I can get my dad to realize outer space is fake, that will be a huge step in the right direction. So I want to be able to start with something small, like outer space. And then I can work my way towards more complex subjects like the Earth being flat and shit. But at one point, I did get my dad to admit that the lunar module looks like it couldn't leave the parking lot. But then he forgot. So I have to remind him. That's another thing about having an old parent, as they selectively choose to remember certain things forever, and then other stuff they just wipe free from their memory for life. Replacement Skylight says, you should make a show that does interventions on people's family members that haven't woken up. Yeah, but how do I go about doing that? Like if you guys have a family member who you want me to do an intervention for, it's like, well, then I got to travel to wherever you are, bring the camera gear, set it up. We have to get permission from your family member to go on camera and have it out with me. So it would take a lot of planning and whatnot. So I'm down to do something like that. It's the time and energy and traveling and money and all the shit that goes into it. And am I going to get a piece of footage that's going to get enough views to make it all worth my while? So I know, to go buy a new camera, go travel to see my dad, shoot this footage, spend the time editing it. And by the time I upload it and turn it into a piece of content for you guys, is it going to make enough money to get all of the expenses back? No. But I feel compelled to make this type of content that is going to be different from anything I've ever made and better than what I've made before. And I feel like it's going to be something special, that it's going to speak to a lot of different people. And so I want to make this special form of content, this documentary where I go try and wake up my dad. But it can't be done like any other video that I've ever done before. So it has to be like a special project that I take more time and effort in thinking in my head, okay, the time that it's going to take, the amount of money it's going to cost, will I ever make that back? Probably not on this project, but I need to do it anyway, just so that I have it in my collection, so that I have this piece of content that's like the crowning glory of the channel. The Last Trump says, sounds like it would be entertaining as fuck. That's the plan, for me to capture a very intense battle, an argument, if you will, between two guys who are both sure that they're right. And one of us is for sure right. And the other one is my dad. Recon Scout says, I don't talk to my boomer parents. So I've had probably 4 different times where I stopped talking to my dad. I think one time I went like a year. So what happens is I go 6 months to a year. Dude. That's him. We're talking about him, and he's calling. He's not watching this. He has no idea I'm streaming talking about him. He never watches me. I'm not going to answer it. I'll call him back another time, probably tomorrow. So there you go. I know you guys want me to answer and then talk to my dad right here on the stream, but I've already told him that I want to come videotape him, and he's all excited. So I told my dad I'm going to come videotape and hear your whole plan, and I'm going to put it on my channel. And so my dad's all excited, and I told him a couple weeks ago that I need at least a week to get a camera, get my shit together. So he's calling, wondering when I'm going to come. I know that that's what he's calling for. He wants to know when I'm going to show up. So I still have to tell him, oh, I haven't got the camera yet, Dad, but I promise I'm coming. I'll either call him back right after the stream or I'll talk to him tomorrow. But yeah, he's calling because I told him I'm going to come interview him. And he's all like excited about that. So he's probably wondering how many more days before I show up. And like I was talking about in my stream last night, my live members only stream, I don't have a camera yet that has the ability to capture all of it for hours. All I have is my stupid phone, right? And my laptop. So I need to go get a new camera, and the time's ticking, and I need to like hurry up and go get it. And then fucking, I have to get a tripod and all that shit. Then I have to figure out how to use it real quick, and then go drive up there, set it all up, get this damn footage, and then come back and then fucking chop it all up for you guys and get it all perfect and turn it into this ultimate piece of content. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but I feel like this is something that I have to do. Like this is the next thing that I have to do with the channel before I do anything else. It's going to blow you guys away when you see what my dad's truck looks like. He has it decorated with all these different signs. My dad's got a truck with a camper on the back and then all these signs. I don't want to show you a picture because it'll spoil it. If I show you guys too much, it'll spoil it. So I want to have all these magical moments like where you see him for the first time and you see his truck and you see how passionate he is about his ideas and what he thinks. And then the moment when I shoot holes in his plan and tell him about how his plan is fucked before it even begins. And how upset that's going to make him to hear that. And then when he turns his frustrations on me, I'm going to capture all of it. Gimli says, don't dox yourself. Well, it's going to be outdoors on the Northern California coast over in the Eureka area. And it's kind of a desolate area up there. So it's like far away from any of the other big cities. I'll show you guys on a map where I'm going to go. So I'm in Sacramento, right? Which is like right in the middle of California. And Eureka is up here on the coast towards the northern corner up near Oregon. And so the thing about the Northern California coast is once you get north of San Francisco, the coastline is very desolate and it's very beautiful. And so this is where the most awesome beaches and pretty areas are. And the towns are small. So there's not like a bunch of trashy homeless people and stuff. Instead, it's like really nice. But in the town of Eureka, they do have a homeless population. So the town of Eureka does have kind of a shitty area. But near Eureka are a bunch of nice beaches. Where's it at? There it is. So it's up here. This is the town of Eureka. And then there's a bunch of mountains and redwoods. So all of this is like really pretty forest. And then all of this is desolate beach where there's like nobody. So there's beaches along here where you could walk around naked and there won't be anybody out there. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a really, really nice area. And then the architecture, they have all these buildings and stuff, these old style buildings. And so I'll be able to turn it into like really nice travel content. So this is what the beaches and stuff look like around Eureka. Oh, shit. So it's going to be a nice area to do some filming. No, my dad lives out of a truck, and he's poor. He gets a check from the government each month because he is a former military vet. So my dad went to Vietnam when he was 18 years old. So my dad is a Vietnam War vet and a former Marine, and he gets his small check from the government, and that's what he survives off of. And so he lives out of his truck, and he drives around where the weather's nice. So he doesn't like the shitty weather. So he stays on the coast during the summer because it's nice and cool. And then during the winter, he goes to southern Arizona where it stays warm. So he basically chases the nice weather. So I'm looking forward to going over to the coast where the weather is really nice. Watch, I'm going to show you guys the weather report for Eureka. And so this is one of the reasons why I'm excited to head out and go visit my dad. So imagine it's 100 degrees and you get in your car and you drive to the coast to Eureka, and then it's 60 degrees. 58 and 49 at night. Oh my God, you guys, look at this. 61, 60, 60, 58, 60, 58, 59, 59. Imagine for the next 10 days, you get to be in 60-degree weather. Yeah, in Eureka, it's like that the whole summer. It's a microclimate that's up there, and it doesn't get hot. It doesn't even really get in. It doesn't even get hot enough for me to enjoy it. Like I like the 70s personally. 70 degrees is my perfect summertime weather. So this is almost too chilly for summertime for me, but I'll put up with it. So I'm going to have to put on like a fucking a hoodie when I get there. When the wind is whipping and you're on the beach and it's 60 degrees and the wind's blowing, you have to put on like a fucking hoodie and jeans and shit. It's almost too chilly. So the weather there is fucking not typical summer weather at all. So that's one of the things I'm looking forward to, is it'll be nice and cool over there on the beach. Check this out, guys. I'll show you in California how just a small drive changes everything. So Sacramento weather, we just had a 100-degree day, but next week we're going to be in the high 80s, low 90s. So here's the Sacramento forecast where I live. 87, 82, 88, 90, 90, 93. Not terrible right now, but we just had 300-degree days in a row, and it's finally going to cool down just a little bit. But I can get in the car and head over to Monterey or Santa Cruz, and the weather will drop like 20 degrees. So I can, in a 2-hour drive, I can go to Monterey, for instance. And now it's low 60s. It's all about being next to the water. So in California, Northern California especially, when you get next to that ocean, the temperature drops dramatically. And you can go the entire summer without feeling hot. And it doesn't snow there. So in the winter, it gets like 30 degrees, 40 degrees, but it doesn't ever snow. So you can hang out in a place, on the Northern California coast, and you're never going to see the snow, and it's never going to be hot. There's a reason why there's places in California where tons of people want to hang out. And I'm going to show you guys some areas that are desolate, where there's no people, and it's fucking beautiful. Being in Las Vegas or Arizona, Phoenix area during the summer, it's hell. And so it's close here in the valley where I live to being as bad as Las Vegas or Phoenix, because we do get days where it's 100 degrees. The difference is I can get in my car at least, and in a couple-hour drive, be over there on the coast where the weather is beautiful. Whereas if you live in Las Vegas, you can't fucking escape it. If you live in Phoenix, you can't. You can go to Flagstaff, but it's still going to be hot. You know what I'm saying? So there's no place you can drive to within a few hours. Same with the Midwest. If you live in the Midwest, you can't get in your car, drive 2 hours, and be like, now it's paradise. I can get in my car and drive and be in fucking weather where I need to wear a sweatshirt. I need to put on pants and socks. So California has its upside. Jonna coming through with a very generous donation, says July is a beautiful month for a birthday celebration. Enjoy your time with your dad. So yes, my birthday is coming up on the 26th of this month. I'm going to be 42 years old. Wow, time flies. And July is it's hot here in the valley, but I know if I can get over to the coast, where it's beautiful, I can enjoy some time over there on the ocean. I love the ocean and I love the coast. I love the cool weather over there. I love the sea breeze. I love the salt in the air. I love the ocean. And so when people tell me, I need to get out of California, it's almost like they don't know what it's like to love the ocean. Some people, if you live in the Midwest, you might only visit the ocean once or twice in your life. You might rarely ever go there. So you just don't know what it's like to have a personal connection with these beautiful places. And so for me to drive away from California and go to any other state to live, it's like I'm leaving behind the beautiful ocean. And the farther I get away from it, then it's like the longer it'll be before I get to see it. So if I go live in a place that's way cheaper than California, but I'm far away from the ocean, well, then that means it might be years before I get to see it. And I got to drive twice as long, 3 times as long, maybe 10 times as long to go see it. And so part of living in California and biting the bullet and paying the extra cost is knowing that if you have the time and money, you get to go to some special places where it truly is beautiful. And it makes you feel good just being there. So I like to go to places where I can just walk around and feel good. And California has those places. You gotta pay the money to be able to go there and hang there. And so I have to make enough money to be able to fucking pay the gas and the cost to go just be in a place where I can enjoy being alive, and where the weather is nice and people are in a good mood. Thank you very much, Jonna. We definitely need to get together again soon and hang out. Last time I texted your sister, or at least a couple weeks ago or whenever, I was saying, one of these days here soon, we should hang out again. And maybe we could walk the beach in Santa Cruz and go eat at Pizza My Heart again like we did last time. I had a lot of fun hanging out with you and your sister last time. So I would definitely like to get together with you guys again, hopefully before the summer ends. Thank you very much, Jonna, longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel. And she's donated so many times. Very generous. I love you, Jonna. And I appreciate you being here and supporting the channel. If I buy a trailer, then I have to have a place to keep it. And then the campsites and stuff, when you have a trailer, you have to pay for that. So when you stay the night in a van, like I do, it's free. So as long as I have a place to park, nobody tells me to leave. Well, that's a free camp. But if you have a trailer, now you have to have a spot to park it and have a plug-in. And then you have to, go to the places to dump the sewage out of it and stuff like that. And then trailers are notorious for having shit go wrong. And newer trailers are notorious for having issues and being cheaply made. And then getting people to work on your trailer is expensive. So hauling around a trailer is expensive because it eats up a lot of gas. So the problem with van life nowadays is the more you drive around, the more expensive it gets, and the more gas you eat up, the bigger your vehicle is. So the more comfortable you are inside of the bigger vehicle with the bigger trailer, the more gas you're going to eat up, the more money it costs. And so I don't want to be put in a position where like just driving the vehicle around each day eats up more money than I can make in a day. And these rigs now, these big trucks pulling these big fancy trailers and these RV rigs and stuff, it can cost quite a bit to keep that up. And so I have to look at like how much I'm going to make per day versus how much I'm going to spend per day. And that's why when I go on the road, I sleep out of my van and I don't get hotel rooms. And when I take road trips, I try and make it as frugal as possible for me to like travel and have fun, but not spend a lot of money. If I am to get an RV, it's got to be a small one, like an older, smaller one. So if I find an RV that's in decent shape for like less than 10 grand, and it's a smaller one that isn't like a gigantic monstrosity. Once you have a gigantic bus-sized RV, then you have to drive that son of a bitch around. Then you have to park it somewhere. It's a pain in the ass. Just having a big van, having to back it up and find parking spots was a pain in the ass. So the good thing about my minivan is it's like big enough to sleep in, but I can park it anywhere where a car would fit. And nobody really can tell that I'm even in there. It's stealthy as fuck. Whereas once you have a rig where it's obvious someone's sleeping in there, then you have to deal with people knocking if you try and stay anywhere for free, or you got to go pay for campgrounds. Can't Cross Antarctica says, I pay $500 a month and you just rent a truck from U-Haul, man. Yeah, but I pay $500 for this spot. And I have free internet and free electricity, 2 bathrooms, and a janitor cleans and restocks the bathrooms. So I'm paying $500 a month where I live now, bro. That's why I've been here for 3.5 years. Right? So what? Yeah, that's how much I've been paying. And my the owner of the building hasn't upped the rent. So I've been paying $500 a month for this spot. Which is why it's tough for me to leave this office when I'm paying $500. So that's why I'm here in this office, y'all. Because I pay $500. You guys, there's certain perks, like not having to buy toilet paper. There's 2 bathrooms here, and they get restocked and cleaned each week. I haven't had to clean a toilet in 3.5 years. I haven't had to buy toilet paper in 3.5 years. Think about that. Just something that small. I haven't had to clean the sink. I haven't had to mop the floor. Someone else does that. And in one of the bathrooms is a dual unit washer and dryer. So got in-house washer and dryer. And then in the other bathroom is a shower, stand-up shower. And the owner of the building, you know, he doesn't mind if someone's here 24 hours a day as long as they're working. And since I run a 24-hour news network YouTube channel, he doesn't mind if I'm here all the time. And he knows that I'm like an extra security guy. Nobody's going to break in here at 3 a.m. and steal everything if somebody like me is here. So the owner doesn't mind. So I've got, you know, a decent little spot here. And even though it's not fancy, it's not luxurious, it definitely beats getting ripped off by paying quadruple the amount for a 1-bedroom apartment and having to clean my bathroom and clean my toilet and restock the fucking shit. So I know what it's like to have a 1-bedroom apartment and have to do all the cleaning and restocking, and the landlord ups the rent every fucking year until you can't afford it anymore. And I know what it's like to live here. Oh, I do me, bro. I've been doing me for years. Part of doing me is that I found this place where I can run the channel. And if I want, I could drive away and go on a trip and leave all my shit locked up here. So the ability that if I wanted to take off for a month and just do a month-long vacation, I can go out on the road and shoot content out on the road, but keep my bass guitars locked up here. You know what I mean? Keep all my shit here, right? So it's nice. It's like this is my storage unit, and I can live here. And it's got the internet and electricity and the bathrooms. The only bad thing is that I'm in a shitty area of Sacramento. That's the main bad thing. Sacramento sucks. I don't like Sacramento. And the area I'm in is trash. Like there's nasty homeless people like right outside my office, fucking, it's gross, the area I'm in. I mean, there's worse areas in California, but the area I'm in ain't good. But $500, as long as I can pull that out of the channel each month, then I'm doing good. I guess this guy didn't listen to what I just said. Yes, in California, what I'm doing here, there's people who would line up around the block for this. But you have to find the right owner. So if you try and go rent an office and the owner of the building doesn't allow people to live there, he's going to tell you you can't do that. Or what I've seen people try and live out of a storage unit. So there's a lot of people who go homeless. They go rent a storage unit and then they try and covertly live out of the storage unit. I don't recommend that you do that unless you talk to the owner of the storage unit and get the approval. If the owner of the storage unit will allow you to sleep inside of the storage unit or run electricity and live inside there, do it. As long as the owner says you can. But if you try and stay in a commercial building without approval from the owner, you will get caught and they will kick you out. So I don't recommend anybody try and do what I'm doing without the right owner and the right approval. So can I just go find any other office like this and have this exact setup? Fuck no. In fact, I rented an office before this where I didn't have internet and it was a little more expensive and I didn't have as good of a setup. But for a while, I rented an office before this and I've rented a room at somebody's house. So I know what it's like to do both, like have a commercial property or rent a room out of someone's house. But I don't like having to have a roommate or follow someone else's rules. Whereas here, it's like I have other people who rent offices and we like will see each other in the kitchen or whatever or in the hall, but I don't feel like they're my roommate, right? Mike Tobin Music says, just joined in. Are you Nick Fuentes fan? I don't even know really who that is. And I've heard probably 10 times tonight that Nick Fuentes destroyed Candace Owens in a recent video. I haven't watched it. I don't follow a lot of these right-winger people, YouTuber people. And so like someone like Candace Owens, her name was brought up by a bunch of shills, to the point where I went and checked out who she was and found out she's a fucking shill who interviewed Russell Brand. So there's some of these like right-winger shill people who have millions of subs who I just don't care about, never really looked into. So I honestly have no idea about Nick Fuentes. I might recognize him if I go look. So I'll write down Nick Fuentes and I'll go take a look at the video that he did with Candace Owens, and perhaps next stream I do or whatever, I'll talk about that. Shrooming Newman 4 says Nick Fuentes is a Fed 100%. So Candace Owens has been around for a while, and it's like I would hear her name, but I never looked into whatever she did. So I didn't really like know what she was all about or anything. And then Witsit Gets It. He was like, you guys, oh, well, if we get, you know, a lot of viewers when we go to Antarctica, you know, I might get to go on Candace Owens's show. So Witsit Gets It, who's a flat earth shill, was bragging about how he might be able to go on Candace Owens' show. And so when a shill like Witsit Gets It brings up a name, then it sticks in my head. Oh, okay, this must be a shill if they're being brought up by this other shill. And so then I heard recently from a few other channels about how Candace Owens destroys 20 feminists. And then a few of even my subs I saw like bring up her name. And I was like, okay, let me go check this person out. So I go to her channel. The first thing I see is that she did an interview with Russell Brand. And I'm like, oh, well, this is a clear-cut fucking shill. So that's why tonight I thought we would just point it like some basic, easy, to point out fucking things like, okay, she's hanging out with Russell Brand. This shit she did with the 20 feminists is set up to draw in conservatives and men. So yeah, if Nick Fuentes is some other guy who puts Candace Owens in her place, then he's most likely a fed or a shill as well. If he's going to go on camera and hang out with Candace Owens, who's a shill, then chances are he's a shill too, right? Because shills of a feather flock together. One more time. Shills of a feather, they flock together. And Recon Scout says, Candace got her start at PragerU. We know who she works for. PragerU. I'm not sure if I know what you're talking about. But yes, typically, if you're allowed to have millions of subs here on YouTube, then you're a shill. I mean, they keep me bottled up. They steal my subs away. Like tonight, they'll probably steal 30, 40 subs just for me going live and saying this. Whereas Candace Owens gets 4 million subs and gets to interview Russell Brand, right? Oh, and it looks like Recon sent a super chat about the Alex Jones replacement, and I almost missed it. My bad. Let me go back and get your super chat, bro. So this brings up a good point, you guys. Watching on delay, nobody will talk about the AJ replacement except you, Jake. Keep the content coming. Thank you very much, Recon Scout. And I have said I am at the forefront of this subject as far as Alex Jones being replaced. Nobody is breaking it down like me. Nobody's taking footage of Alex Jones and pointing out specifically how his eye color has changed, his head shape is different, his voice sounds different, the cadence in the way he speaks has changed, his energy is off. It looks like it could be an AI Alex Jones. So is Alex Jones controlled opposition, whether it's Bill Hicks or not? Yes. But I want people to be able to spot when people are replaced. So even if it's a shill celebrity who's being replaced, I want you guys to be able to spot this. And I want to be able to spot it. I don't want to be so dumb as to think that, these celebrity shills are the same people for years and years when they've been swapped out multiple times. So if they're going to swap out some celebrity or some controlled opposition shill, I want to have the wherewithal to be able to spot it and be able to vocalize it and point it out. And I want you guys to be smart enough to notice it too, because that would mean you're really paying attention. So the fact is, I'm paying attention. I can see that it's a different guy. I can explain it. I can point out the reasons why I feel this way. Whereas nobody else is really doing that. You might see Russian vids within a few days rip off my idea like he did with AI Trump. So Russian vids says that that Trump is AI, but he did it after I said so in my video. So once I pointed out Trump looks like he's fucking AI, like 2-3 days later, Russian vids comes out and says Trump is AI. Gets more views than me with less subs. Making a shittier video than I made, saying the exact same thing. So if anyone's going to come out and tell you Alex Jones has been replaced, it'll probably be Russian vids. And he'll fucking steal my information and present it as if he's the one who came up with it. So yeah, my guess is if anyone's going to mention it, it'll be the fucking faceless cuckbag Russian vids who stole my fucking AI Alex Jones idea without giving me any credit. All right. I think I'm about ready to call it quits tonight. We've been on here for almost 3.5 hours. I'm feeling hungry. I'm feeling like I need to take the dog out. So this would be a good time to go ahead and shut it down. So until next time, this has been your favorite comedian, your favorite entertainer, your favorite truther. And if I'm not your favorite, I should be. There's no reason why I shouldn't be your favorite. So until then, thank you guys for watching. I really enjoyed myself tonight. We had a bunch of people send donations, and I really, really appreciate it. Thanks again to Jonna for the very generous donation. And thanks to everyone who sent donations. You guys, you're helping keep one of the last remaining real truth channels afloat. And I couldn't do it without you. So thank you for being here. And to everyone else whose messages I didn't get to read live, I'm going to go back and watch the replay. And I always read everything that everyone posted here. So you'll be happy to know that even if I didn't read your message, I go back and I read each and every chat that people posted so I can see who showed up and who said what. So probably later tonight, I'll watch the replay. I go back and I watch the replay at like 1.5 speed, so it goes by fast. And then I skip through any boring parts, but I read every single person's message so that I can see who showed up and who said what. Anyway, so thank you guys for hanging out, and I'll catch you guys in the next stream or the next video. And all right, until then, I love you guys. Peace out. Have a great night. This concludes another Truther Tuesday. So until next time, bye-bye.